Welcome, my guest, JohnFBaby.
We in this bitch.
We in this bitch. He's been on my list since day one, since he was in Paris, since my cousin Andrew introduced me to this person. You know that's how I found out about you?
Andrew.
My cousin Andrew was like, you need to check this fucker out. I think he shared, I don't know what tape it was, but you know the one with the yellow? The one with the yellow cover, yellow and black cover.
Oh, that's Fate and Dedication.
Yeah,
that was like my 6th track I ever released.
And I remember he sent me the link to that, and he was like, this shit is dope, check it out. And I was like, all right. And then you was in Paris, so that shit just made it even more
the
cool.
vibes.
It was in fucking Paris. You know what moment in time I'm talking about?
Yeah, bro.
How'd you end up in Paris? Was it for school?
Yeah, so it was not necessarily for school, but it was like a school trip.
Makes sense.
And you know, that ended up happening. We spent like a week down there.
Did you fuck with it? Is Paris as bougie as everyone makes it seem?
Bro, so look.
My sister said it's ghetto.
Honest opinions, bro. It's not as bougie as you think it is. They do got the high class stores, the fucking Versace, the Louis, all of it. But it's like, bro, it's sort of like U.S. in the sense that you'll have those same like homeless folks out in the street begging, and the streets are cigarette smelling, and
you don't like cigarettes?
Fuck no.
You don't like nicotine?
No.
So you smoke. You like fur. You only smoke joints?
I like ganja. I mean, I'll partake in like a blunt smoke if it goes around. But
that's not your preference.
Nah, I'd rather smoke it out the bong, out the pipe.
What other part of Europe were you at?
I also went to Barcelona.
How was that? Which one's better, Barcelona or France?
Bro, I think Barcelona had the vibes, bro.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I felt a little bit more comfortable there because in France, bro, like it's straight French. You know, like you're not.
You don't know what the fuck's going on.
You hear people talking, but you don't know.
You
just
know? Look at it and you're like,
yeah. Like even ordering food is like that. Like I was sitting there like
that one.
Yeah, and like she'd be like, what? You know, like.
But isn't the Spanish in Barcelona different?
It's different, but it's comprehensible. It's not like you're not gonna, you're gonna understand.
Did anyone have any discriminatory? Was anyone rude to you? Like, was anyone like fucking American or?
Nah, actually, not to me, bro. Not.
But to other people, yeah.
I'm trying to think, man, because
I hear them French people was racist, like racist.
Yeah. See, but the thing about it is, I mean, even if they were being racist,
you wouldn't know what the fuck.
They could.
Oh, that's awful.
It's like that's exactly why I said in Barcelona, awful. I felt a little bit more.
Because at least they talking shit.
You know.
One time I was at a beach in Miami. And in Miami, there's not many Mexicans. There's a lot of other Spanish, but there's not a lot of Mexicans.
Right.
And I was on a beach with a white man, right? So they were like, "What the fuck is this kid?" And they're talking out loud like, well, "He looks Mexican. What the fuck is he?"
Right.
And then they hear me speak Spanish, and they're like, "Oh, he's fucking Mexican. Oh, there's a fucking Mexican. Why is there a fucking Mexican here?" And they were being so racist. And I remember just looking at them and being like, "I don't know if I should
say something
or just mind my fucking
business." Yeah.
You know what I did?
What's up?
I just minded my business.
Yep.
I went with my teacher.
It is how it is.
And then we ran into them at the bar, and I spoke fluent Spanish. And I said, "How you doing?" I said, "Hola, hola. How y'all doing? How you doing? Do you speak Spanish?"
I do, bro.
Are you fluent in it?
Hablo español.
Yo tampoco lo hablo, pero no lo puedo hablar bien.
Yo pienso que sí lo hablo bien, en mi propia opinión. Así lo veo, porque mi padre, esa fue la primera lengua que él me enseñó. O sea, siempre ha sido español para mí.
No, también a mí siempre he hablado español, pero lo que yo he notado es que puedo tener una conversación así lo más así, pero en inglés tengo I have a huge vocabulary.
Right, yeah,
So it just doesn't, like, I'll be sitting at the table and they'll start talking about fucking politics. And I'll disagree with all of it, right? All of it, but I can't.
You can't formulate the words to
I don't even know what the fucking word is.
Break down their arguments.
No, I just have to sit there and be like, all right, well, you're a fucking socialist.
Well, I agree with you on that. I feel like my Spanish is pretty deep like that, but then again, you also have those like big words that I feel like that just comes from
I can't do big words.
I
can do basic. I'm like, hola, mi nombre Luis. What's good, man?
Okay, what's good with it, man?
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Yeah.
How was it growing up in a single father home? And how do you feel like that is prevalent in your music now? Because obviously that has to have some effect.
Okay, I feel like all of that obviously has effect your whole story, where you come from, what
yeah, because it's how you come up. If you don't grow up with a male figure, you're either
of course.
Yeah.
It's there. But me personally, I grew up with just my father, and so it's been like how can I explain it? It was not really like. It was kind of like receiving motherly love from my father, and at the same time getting that mean dad type.
Yeah, I guess.
So it's like the best of both worlds. Like I always kind of looked up to my father as like a mother figure as much as a father figure. But like, I mean, if anything, I feel like what really messed with me most about not just being with my father was like he was always at work.
So he was alone.
It was like, you know, little elementary schooler coming home from school by himself. Like
I've always been really grateful for that though, because I grew up in a single mother and my mother was never around, and because of that, I was able to find shit that I just loved. I was able to fall in love with things either on the internet or on TV or books. Do you feel that way as well, or do you wish he was around? Do you got daddy issues? You got mommy issues? Or are you cool?
I mean, it's at first.
Because you're a kid, right?
I'm a kid, you know. It's like, damn, like I need my pops to be here. Where's my dad? I'm hungry. I'm this. I'm that. I'm that. But as you grow and you start to grow into that, you know, being alone,
being independent.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like you get to create your own personality.
That's what I'm so grateful about. Like I always tell my dad every time I see him, I'm like, yo, thank God that you left, bro. If you wouldn't have left,
fucked up.
It sounds fucked up.
But it is what it is.
If he would have never left, I feel like who I am, it wouldn't be me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I was able to
Of course, you'd be a completely different person.
Yeah, because I would have wanted to aspire to be like him.
Right.
Looking
up to that person.
And did you being alone lead to you finding music? And if so, what was the music that you found that you just loved?
All right, so I feel like...
Because that has to go hand in hand, in my opinion.
They tie in very similarly, but like... I wouldn't say like it's to the point wherever it's like you know they were the reason why I discovered music, but I feel like me discovering music was just like mainly like, you know, car rides with my dad, like off to the gym and stuff like that, you know, just radio music. And so like my like very early inspirations was always like Bruno Mars. Like, you know,
Talking to the moon,
bro. You know, it's funny that it's so funny that you mentioned that specific song.
I love that song
because I can remember memories of me being like in 4th grade, like literally like bawling my eyes out to this song.
Oh and my god! Yes, like, I feel you.
You don't even like know why or nothing,
but you know that you're talking to the moon.
But you're sitting there crying, talking about in hopes you're on the other side.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
1, 2, yeah,
all of it, bro. And so it's like it was always like me growing up with that, and anytime like we were riding in the car, I would always sing along word for word. And anytime my dad wanted to butt in, you know, with his broken English and start trying to sing along, you know, being all goofy, I would like get pissed, like to the point wherever I wouldn't even want to talk to him.
Oh, really? It pissed you off?
Like bad.
Why would it piss you off?
Because he wasn't singing it right. You know, it's like, bro, if you gonna sing something, do it right.
He wasn't doing it justice?
Nah.
So you are a firm believer in if you're gonna do something, do it right.
Yep.
And how do you think that pops up when you're making music?
So if you ever sit in the studio with me and you actually like, you know, watch me create and the whole creative process, there's always a bunch of retakes. Retake on retake. That one could sound damn near perfect, but it wasn't perfect, so we're taking it again. And we're taking it again. And if I stutter, if I slur my word, we're doing it again.
So you try to be as meticulous as possible.
I try to, any way that I'm approaching it, I want it to be the best way possible.
And is that just with music, or is that in your personal life as well, when handling people? Because I try to be like that with handling people as well.
Of course.
But I've noticed it doesn't work. You can't be meticulous with people, because people do it their own way.
Oh, yeah. People are people.
People are people. You can't do shit about it. You can try your best.
Yeah,
but they're going to do whatever the fuck they want.
Whatever they want to at the end of the day. Well, I mean, I always try to take a very, like, genuine approach whenever I'm coming at somebody. You know, you can kind of feel energies. You kind of know when somebody's like, don't talk to me, don't look at me.
I hate that because it always makes me feel bad, because I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I
didn't mean to burst your bubble. Real shit.
I hate it. And when did you meet Danny? Because you and Danny have one of the most beautiful chemistries. I think you guys are probably my favorite, like, little duet.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you guys have on a song.
Duo.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely a dynamic duo.
I met Daniel.
He told me you guys met in like middle school or elementary.
It was like early middle school. Like he was probably in 7th grade. I was probably in 6th grade. And like it's so funny how we met, because we actually met like on a video game, like on a PlayStation.
Most of our generation met like that.
But it's so crazy to me because like what are the chances that I end up in a lobby with this dude who I have no clue even existed up until this point, and you know we just, you know, we link and it turns out dude doesn't live too far from me. Well, hey, let's hang out in real life. You know, we go about doing that, and then like, you know, that's actually whenever I met Daniel, and like music was not even like.
So y'all was friends before.
It was just like, you know, that's what it was. We was just boys, and we would just go around being boys. And like eventually we stumbled upon like Lil Wayne freestyling, and like, comedy skits of Lil Wayne, and it was like, dude, like this guy, I want to rap like him, like I want to sound like him. And so we jokingly created like our rap names for ourselves. Like he was Danny F Baby and I was John F Baby, and we were coming off Wheezy F Baby, which is one of Lil Wayne's nicknames.
No, yeah, I think everyone when they look at your names, I think that's very obvious. If they know about hip hop, and they know about that scene,
that's where it comes from.
Yeah, well, that's where it's very obvious.
Yeah, no, it's stupid obvious.
Like it's so like I think I was talking to Christian. We were talking about that and how that's so obvious. But do you think it's obvious for the other people? Like, you think they look at it and they're like, oh yeah, this guy's inspired by Wayne?
No,
because I look at Danny and I think Wayne all the time.
Well, see, it's so funny because like you'd be surprised the amount of people who actually don't know who Wheezy F Baby is. Like there's
so they know who Lil Wayne is, but they don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that specific nickname. I feel like everybody knows Wayne, but
Wayne was so prominent in our lives. Like he was killing it our whole lives.
He started what, the face tattoo trend. I could keep going, like all of it, dude. Like he's like the originator of all of that, man. Like gangster rap. Of course there was other artists, but like nobody was doing it like Wayne. He came out the scene bloody. Like nobody was doing that. Nobody was claiming Bloods out there, and then now everybody's a Blood, and now everybody's a Crip, and Wayne did that. He pushed that, the face tattoos, all of that. So
but his face tattoos are ridiculous. I feel like some people get really ridiculous. Like his eye ones are my favorite ones. Like the ones that he has on his eye, and I like his neck ones. I don't like all of them, but the ones on his eye go hard. Like if I ever were to get a face tattoo, I would get one right here.
Crazy.
I know, but
I couldn't.
Really, I want to get my mother's name right here, but like in light pink.
She would probably smack you.
I've told her so many times, and I want to get a purple flower right here.
Okay.
And but like in pink. I want to get it in pink so it looks like acne, but if you get closer, you'll be like, Soledad, what the fuck?
Okay.
That's really, I want to do that, but I got to get a mill, and then I can do that.
That's a pretty dope name, for real.
Yeah, it's pretty, huh? That's what I'm saying. Like, it wouldn't look, it looked ridiculous, but since it's pink and my skin tone is that color, it's like,
oh, that boy got pink eye or something. They wouldn't even want to get close.
Have you ever had pink eye?
I actually haven't.
I've had pink eye a couple times.
For real?
Yeah. And it's never like on some innocent shit. It's never like, oh, I farted on my pillow. It's always some bullshit.
Does that really even work like that? Like,
I mean, you can test it. I would assume it does. Every time I ever got pink eye, it's always straight in the eye.
Man.
Like I feel the straight in the eye.
Oh, no thank you. No thank you.
That's gross, huh?
No gas in my eyes.
I'm sorry, hold on. That's funny. Because I'm envisioning the picture.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a very.
So when you guys were if I'm correct, Danny drops music way before you do, right? You guys don't drop it together. Danny drops first.
Are you saying like in the beginning? So it's because, bro, when we came up with these rap names,
it was silly.
It was just we're coming up with rap names.
See, but I like it.
It was not.
It works.
It was not. We're coming out with rap names to go make rap music. No. And then
it was just a gamer tag?
It was kind of like that. Not necessarily a gamer, but it was just like, we see Lil Wayne, he's rapping hard. All right, we're going to come up with rap names for ourselves. You're going to be Danny F Baby. I'm going to be John F Baby. We're going to have Germ F Baby. We're going to be the F Baby Bros and F Baby Productions. And
I remember you guys were dropping, Germs in particular was dropping a fuck ton of music
on
Facebook.
Shitload.
Like, I remember that's how I even came to know Danny or you.
So
the thing is, I didn't even know I knew you until I was like, I heard the song that Andrew linked me. I heard it and I was like, I know this voice. Where the fuck do I know this voice from?
So Daniel and Germ, and they actually did start making music first.
Yeah.
And I kind of followed up, and it I don't even know like how or why, but like, eventually this rap name actually like, hey, let's actually do it. Let's actually go out our way, get microphones. Let's go out our way. I mean, I can remember stories wherever we were stealing people's rugs just to go provide some insulation in this fucking downstairs basement that was not even ours. We just broke into it just to try to make a studio. And like, I mean,
oh, that's adorable.
I didn't make my first song until I was like, I think in 7th grade. And that was actually with Germ and Danny. And we had actually we didn't have no headphones and we needed headphones to record. We ran up to Dollar General, stole some headphones, and it's like, I remember like the whole base of the song was like, the song was called Poverty, and it was about being poor, if that, wasn't obvious enough. And, it's so funny because in the intro, like, we're just talking about, oh, like, I got holes in my sock. Oh, I haven't changed my hoodie in 2 weeks. Like, oh, this and oh, that. It's like, oh, but what about these headphones? It's like, we stole them. We're criminals. And that was like the whole, it's just like hella goofy, like just looking back on that. But
it makes sense for the area that we're all in where we're growing up. Because at the end of the day, you're teenagers, right? So,
well, not even teens.
We're
young tweens. We're preteens, exactly.
I was hitting licks. That's how determined they was. Y'all hear that?
Just little baby.
They was hitting licks. They was hitting licks. Nice serious.
You know, some rugs, some headphones.
What's the next?
I remember we actually didn't get those until like you know, it's like high school, like late high school, like probably like.
Do you think these are really that important?
They're not. They provide an aesthetic. You know, they provide that look, that professionalism look, and I feel like, you know, you gotta fake it till you make it. And I feel like that's why anytime I gotta stand up in front of a camera, or even like today, you know, you previous to this interview, like I was telling you, oh, I gotta get a fade. Because, bro, I mean, you gotta.
I didn't get a fade.
You gotta look the part.
You do have to look the part.
Or else you're not gonna do it.
No, well, you not only do you have to look the part, but if you don't look the part, people are not gonna take you as seriously.
They won't.
And that's the unfortunate part. When did you find out that people were taking you seriously in your music? Because I take you seriously in your music, and I know a lot of other, like, when I posted that, hey, I'm doing a JohnFBaby interview, a lot of people reacted.
Right.
Because they take you seriously. How long do you think it took for people to take you seriously, or do you think they still don't take you that seriously? Because I'd say they do take you seriously. In my honest opinion, I do think they take your music seriously.
Well, so...
I take your music seriously. I mean, hell, I'm right fucking here, right?
Right, we're doing this shit. So
yeah.
you must have some sort of level of, you know, seriousness to it. But I feel like a lot of people still, like, to this day, don't take it too serious. But, I mean, there's no problem with that, because I know that this is, like, it's a very long journey.
It's a
very long journey. And, like, you know, it's crazy because, I mean, just kind of getting to the point of seriousness, people don't take it serious, but that's not bad, because I feel like my music and Daniel's music, like, we've always had a very, like, comedic aspect to it, like comedy. You know, we always like to implement, like, goofy shit into the music. So I feel like, you know, like, that kind of takes away from the seriousness. But hey, I mean, I don't want people to look at me and think, oh, you know, he's that gangster hard rapper who's, you know, don't fuck with him. Nah, I want people to, you know,
friendly, lovable.
Yeah, like, yeah, bro, that's JohnFBaby, man. That's that goofy ass dude. You know, I don't even care if you call me goofy. Like,
but everything you've dropped so far, the reason I'm able to take you seriously is because the content is good.
Oh, yeah.
The audio is really good. You're layered. Everything is well produced. Everything's well engineered. From one of the first couple songs that you dropped, even the shit that Germs was dropping on Facebook, it wasn't the best, but it was enough to be like, oh shit, okay.
They're taking this. Yeah.
And as time has progressed, Danny has gotten increasingly better at
Danny's
all of that.
the jack of all trades.
Literally, he can Photoshop, he can produce all of it, and that has to be fundamental to all of it, right?
Yo, yeah, no, Daniel. I mean, it's this simple. If Daniel was not around, Staychillin would not be around.
I've always thought about it like this. If Daniel wasn't around, a lot of the artists that we have around would not even be existent. It wouldn't be that they wouldn't be existent.
Just no place to go.
They would have picked it up. They would have done something. Wouldn't have got no love, but dropped it.
Yeah.
And Danny, he seems to accept everybody. Hell, he accepted me. Like, he was just like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that's how Danny rolls, and I love it because I know that in the long run, that's just creating a scene. And if we're all somewhat connected, then we can all come up.
The scene in Kansas City right now, you know, people are still got their eyes close to it.
But
it's boiling. It's boiling. It is.
And Danny's at the center of it. Staychillin is definitely at the center of it.
It's so beautiful to see that because, like, you know,
even if you look at his analytics, most of your guys' analytics aren't even in Kansas City. Most of your analytics are in other parts of the city, like town.
Yeah, of course.
And going back to Christian and going back to Danny has worked with everyone. Danny has never
features on features on features.
Anyone can hop on. Like, yeah. I was listening to Staychillin track 2, right? The album 2. And you guys have people who aren't even really associates of Staychillin. You guys have people who
just artists.
Yeah, just artists.
KC artists.
And I love that. I love that concept because he's basically just putting on for everyone. He's giving everyone a platform.
Well, yeah, no,
how do you feel
that's the goal of Staychillin.
How do you feel like Danny has given you a platform in a sense?
Oh, Daniel, first off, you know, that's my fucking brother since like forever, bro. Like, real shit, like, that's my brother. You know, like, if I had to call anybody my brother that's not blood, that's my brother. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Daniel, all of it, like, everything, bro, like, you know, from cover arts to, you know, it's crazy because all this stuff should cost a fee. But
he doesn't. He just does it out of love.
It does not cost a fee for me. I'm blessed for that opportunity. You know, not everybody can say, yo, I got a studio right down the street with a $2,000 microphone and the highest equipment and a fucking engineer who could work the whole Logic software like nobody else.
And somebody who can Photoshop up the ass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, let's not even talk about
him on Photoshop.
It's another level.
Like,
it's another level.
Am I tripping or did he animate something? Am I tripping or did he animate something?
What's the song called?
The one where you guys are on the beach, right?
Yeah. Chasing the money, I'm getting the racks, talking that shit, boy, ain't gonna whack. Shoot me and I shoot back and get lit. That song, you know,
that one was fun. I like that one. It gave me like Kyle and Lil Yachty vibes, but in their own lane.
You know, I actually made that song under the influence of a psychedelic drug.
Oh, really? You like psychedelic drugs? Psychedelic drugs scare the fuck out of me. I've done it like a good 2 times, but I've done it with like my sister. You know what I'm saying?
That's odd.
I've done it with my sister.
I don't think I could.
I did it with my sister and like at her house and like, cause you know, let's be
Chill,
safe. Yeah. Fuck no. If anything, that makes me even more uncomfortable. Yeah. Like I remember on my drive home, I enjoyed my drive home on acid and me being in my room looking at all my fish tanks on acid more than I enjoyed
being
tripping the fuck out. When you say psychedelics, do you mean shrooms or do you mean
so
acid?
that specific song was
shrooms are fun.
That specific song was made on acid.
Time.
That specific song was made on acid, but
how much of your catalog do you think is made under the influence of drugs? And do you feel like drugs are you need drugs to make the music?
Oh fuck!
I don't want to put you in that spot.
No, of course not. I don't think anybody ever needs drugs to make music
or anything.
I feel like or anything at all. You know, sometimes a little bit of inspiration, but that's not drugs. You know, I feel like
what's drugs to you then? Crack.
Oh shit! All of it, man, all of it. Even I'm even willing to put marijuana into the drug category just because everybody else does.
I think that initially marijuana wasn't, and had no right to be in that category.
Oh yeah, I mean, but it got placed in over time.
As time has evolved,
the history
not even the history. We're seeing that the THC levels are getting higher, the cannabinoid levels are getting higher.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing it's a drug now. You can abuse it. You can get addicted to it.
I agree.
Whereas before it was
just a little high,
like
a tobacco cigarette,
little giggles. No. But I definitely do believe that as time has progressed, marijuana is becoming not a harder drug per se, but definitely is getting a lot more serious, especially with pens and carts, and especially
all that extra shit. You don't even know what's going in there.
Can I be honest with you? I've been smoking weed way before that, and when those bitches popped out, I was excited because it made it not smell. Yeah. But then as time has evolved, I'm like, you fucking kids.
Yeah,
they're abusing the shit out of it.
Hell yeah.
Like there's kids who will run through 3 in a week.
That's mad.
That's fucking sad, and they don't even acknowledge that that's bad because that stigma of it being bad is not there. Like I don't know how many people I know that use pens or smoke pens, but will never touch weed because weed smells bad, and their mom will beat their ass.
That's so crazy,
and that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
like, bro,
that's crazy.
A Jeezy only costs you about $10, right? That's all you need. That's all. In a pen, not. But going back to what I was saying before I went off my little tangent.
Right.
Do you feel like you need drugs to create music? You said no, but
no, I don't. And if I were to tell you like the catalog of my music, I say about 30% was made under the influence of marijuana, and probably only about like 1% that one track that was made on acid. So
nothing on shrooms. You never had fun with shrooms?
I've had a lot of fun with shrooms, but
shrooms for me are fun as hell. But they have to be in the right context.
I haven't had the time to take shrooms and actually say, okay, I'm gonna sit down and make some music. So every time I've taken it, it's like
it's on some fun shit. Go to the zoo. Go to the zoo on shrooms. I swear to God, you're gonna have so much fun.
Bro, I'll probably feel bad for the animals and incarcerated cages and shit.
You know, I with this whole quarantine shit, I fuck SeaWorld. I've always been fuck SeaWorld, but it's definitely fuck SeaWorld now.
Fuck SeaWorld and the zoos, bro. Come on, bro. The poor tigers in cages, bro. Like, that shit is fucked up.
I agree that it's fucked up, but it's almost like we've created that issue because they were raised in that environment. So if we were to release them, they'd be fucked.
At this point, yeah.
At this point, they'd be fucked.
I agree.
If something could have been done sooner, we're good. But unfortunately, there has to be generations of animals that have lived in cages forever and ever and ever. And fuck, I have fish tanks. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be a hypocrite. No, fish tanks. I
mean, it's a fish.
Some fish are smart, bro.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Some fish are smart.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I'm dead serious.
I agree. No,
I
definitely agree. A fish would probably kill you if it could.
Some, maybe.
Same with a cat. A cat would kill you if it could.
You know, a cat. I always say this, and I was talking about it in the last interview. Actually,
that's so funny.
If a cat was like 5 times bigger,
I read that article somewhere.
It'd be a fucking apex predator.
Yeah, no,
we would be scared of it.
Yeah.
Think of a fucking panther.
I agree. Yeah, any other animal.
But I still run this shit. I'll punch a motherfucker. You can punch a dog on the face?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I've never been attacked by a dog. I think I'm just kind of lovable, you know?
They just walk up to you, they're like, let me die.
Real shit.
Really? I've been attacked by dogs.
I mean, yeah, but I was actually, me and my brother Gabriel, we like talking about this. And like, you know, one time we were like, yo, like, would you rather like have like a dog, like a mean ass dog coming at you, or would you rather have like a cat, but like ferocious cat?
Because a cat has more fucking tools.
You gotta, yeah, that's what I'm saying. A cat can jump on your face and it's not coming off.
A dog realistically only has its mouth.
Its mouth, yeah. And I mean, you sock him one time right in the nose, and like that dog will go whimpering. But like an angry cat, you throw that motherfucker off, it's getting right back on. No fucks given. That's why I'm saying like. Cats are scary, man, but they're really dope. Actually, I like cats.
I fuck with all animals.
You know, there's a lot of like theories that cats can see into like different like realms and like they could even see like cancer in a person.
Well, I know that lots of frogs they see in ultraviolet.
Yep.
They see in ultraviolet, so that and a lot of animals see very differently.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I like about psychedelics is because they give you a whole nother experience.
A whole nother.
And realm. I know that a lot of it is just in your head.
Of course. But
to a certain extent, you have to be like, whoa, this shit. Like, let me try to really.
It is.
Analyze.
See, but the thing is, like, it's all in your head. You say it like that, but at the same time, like, there's parts of your brain that are making neurological connections that have never been connected before. You know, there's things going on in your brain that have never happened whenever you were sober. So, even though it is all in your head, I mean, think about it. There's so much inside your head. You know, like, there's so much that you don't know. I've had trips to where, like, I'm coming down. And then, like, but we bring it back up, though. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, my trip always ends on a good note.
Excuse me, you and Daniel are really positive. So I can imagine that it wouldn't be a hostile environment.
See, yeah, I mean, you could have, like, some menacing ideas on acid. Like, menacing, like, dark, like, twisted, like things you would never think of. You know, but at the end of the day, like, you gotta remember that, hey, like, I'm gonna be straight by the end of this trip. Yeah, like, it's all gonna be good, you know?
When did you first start experimenting with drugs? Because I know I've smoked a blunt with you before we even did anything.
Right. The first time I ever indulged in any of lively pleasures.
Lively pleasures.
Probably was my freshman year.
Oh, so you didn't get into high school?
Yeah, no.
Wow, I'm a fucking degenerate.
You know, it's so funny because
I'm a fucking degenerate.
You say, wow. But see, like if we're counting alcohol, like I can remember like second grade, I was a bad kid. Like bad.
Oh, you was sipping?
I was taking little vodka shots, smoking like cigarettes, like second grader, bro. Like what was I doing? Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but I was just hanging around the wrong crowd.
I stayed away from all that shit till like 6th grade. And then we started trapping. We were selling weed.
Okay.
We were selling weed and we were smoking weed.
Hell yeah.
That's my first interaction with drugs.
You was out there grinding.
Not even. Like, I remember I found a $20 bill while I was walking home. And then I copped 2 G's.
Right.
And then I flipped them for like 4. And then it took home $40.
Hey.
But but it was like...
Trapping. Big trapping.
Big trapping, right? But it was like on some middle schooler shit.
Right.
So I gave him like a 0.5.
Boy.
They smoked it with me. So, straight profit.
No.
Got home high as fuck.
That's so crazy.
No, yeah, that's how I got into drugs. But prior to that, I didn't like alcohol, not even cigarettes, none of that. I didn't know that I liked nicotine and cigarettes till now. I don't do cigarettes, but like the earliest memories of my dad, it was the smell of nicotine. And I always linked that to like, oh, that's happiness. Like, oh,
yeah. Home.
Yeah, like that type of feeling. And I didn't realize that till like now. Now I know, oh, yeah, I like nicotine. I don't mean to like nicotine, but it's just because my father would smoke cigarettes. That's why I like it. So you was drinking as a youngin'?
I mean, bro.
Why was you drinking as a youngin'? You didn't know it was bad?
I feel like the memories are kind of like, they're there, they're distant. But like, from what I remember,
you got
like.
fucked up then, huh?
Nah, it's not even that, man. I just remember like, I was hanging out with the wrong group of second graders. That sounds so funny, but like it is what it is, like I remember like
some kids have been bad since
their grandpa was like, he constantly had cigarettes, like packs on packs on packs. So it was like, I'm about to go steal some of grandpa's cigarettes.
And they wouldn't fuck you up because the cigarette will like,
dude, we would like put 5 in our mouth at a time, like puffing on them, thinking we're cool.
Bitch.
And I remember he'd be like, oh yeah, like my mama has vodka shots in the beat up car in the back, and oh shit, go get some vodka shots. And it would be like, it would taste like shit. But it was like, they were drinking it and they were puffing on the 5 cigarettes. So fuck it, I'm going to do it too. Yeah. But it's so funny because like I could look back on those days and I think now like, damn, like I was really in second grade skipping school to go smoke cigarettes and drink vodka.
But the way I look at it is you have to experiment to know what you're not and what you are.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do something and be like, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah, that's not.
And then you have to go through that process because I feel like a lot of people, they don't ever experiment, so they don't know what the fuck they don't fuck with.
They don't
and they
know
just live a very sheltered life. And that
living
shit
under a
is
rock. That's
just
boring.
fucking whack.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It's whack.
I don't wish that upon anybody.
How do you feel like the schools that you attended affected you in your music? Because you've attended what, two different high schools, right?
Yeah, 2 different high schools.
And how did that? Which one did you prefer? Which one was better?
So I'm gonna tell you, Turner, because that's where I went, like from the point of like middle school, high school. It was Turner, and I always had my group of friends at Turner, like my boys that they've been with me since elementary. So we've been riding, and we felt like we were running that bitch,
As everyone feels.
Freshmen coming into this building with my gang of like 9 boys, like like we run this shit, like fuck a senior, fuck a junior, fuck a nigga, freshman running this.
Yeah,
and it's like
that's how I feel too.
And that's how it was originally. So it was like I always kind of have my boys, and I was always we always had our table, and
what led you to move to Harmon then?
It came down to like it involved marijuana, and it was like, oh, like my dad was like, oh, like you're a fucking drug addict, you're smoking, you're doing this, doing that. And he was like, get the fuck out. And so it was like, damn, like, all right, shit, I'll go. I packed my PS4 thinking I was the hot shit, you feel me? Packed into like 2 or 3 things of clothes, and I was on my way. And my dad, it's so funny because like right before I left, he was like, like, hey, like don't go, like I wasn't serious, like stay, I was like, nah, like you already told me go, so
I'm a proud drug addict.
I'm going, and I ended up moving in with my mother, and
so
that pertained to that district, so that's what made the transfer over to Harmon. But it's so crazy because
when I seen you, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what?
I believe,
I know that motherfucker.
I believe firmly in the law of attraction, like firmly. And it's so funny because, previous to this happening, because I transferred over around like, mid to late February. And
you was there by
my junior year. Yeah. Late February, that's around the time that I transferred over. And, like previous to that, like in December, I probably even still have the snap in my memories. I took a picture of the school Harmon because I was up there with Danny. No reason in particular. We were just up there, and I took it, and I was
like, to you what was it, last week up there?
Yeah.
You just partied all around.
Chilling,
just having a great fucking time.
Nah, and it's so funny though because like I took a picture of the school. What the fuck were the chances that reunion
Abdul pulled up?
Yeah, literally.
I've been wanting to get Abdul done for a fucking minute, but the day I wanted to do him, I seen he posted he was in Minneapolis. I was like, oh
yeah, can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go all the fucking. Where is Minneapolis?
Indianapolis.
In Indiana.
Indianapolis, Indiana. Is it in Indiana? Minneapolis.
You gotta let Abdul know. What the fuck was he doing up there? He was up there for like a day.
He has a lot of like his mother runs a business. I don't even know if I should be speaking on that, but yeah, his mother runs a business, and that's so he does a lot of traveling for that reason.
That makes a lot. Cause I seen her, I was like, oh fuck. Cause my mama didn't let me out. I was supposed to do it. She's like, no, the fuck is you doing? Stay home.
Fuck, I totally lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the law of attraction. You was at Harmon.
All right, so I was at Harmon, and I took a picture of the school. It was around December. And I took a picture of it, and I was like, yo, like, I'm transferring soon. Jokingly as fuck. No thought in my mind that I was really going to transfer to Harmon. But I took a picture of the school, and I said, I'm transferring soon. And I had people sliding up like, yo, you dead ass? You dead ass? I'd be like, yeah, dead ass.
Yeah.
Come around 3 months later, I'm literally sitting here transferring into this school. And it was like, Harmon is something. I'm going to just say that because I don't want to say like it was bad, it was good. Whenever I transferred into there, it was dope. I noticed one thing that was very different from Turner. People like, they don't give a fuck about class. Like they'll just hang out around the hallways and they'll be chatting and it'll be like, like go to class, like no fucks given. They'll still be talking there. And that was something new because at Turner, it feels like, the bell rings.
Everyone gets scurries out.
Straight to class.
No one gives a fuck.
Straight to class.
And that's why I'm so grateful that I was able to attend a school like that because it goes very well with the people I hang out with.
Well, I mean, and the thing is,
we don't give a fuck. I know I didn't give a fuck.
You could get lost in that, but at the same time, like there's a level of beauty to it. There's a lot of beauty to it because I remember just feeling like like damn, I feel like because even my first day of school, it was on a Wednesday. So I missed like my whole last period. Like I did not attend. I went to all 3 lunches. Like it was like good vibes. I was like,
I went to all 3 lunches.
This is the shit. Like
I fucked with it.
I was feeling it. But then after a while, it was like, like I don't know. Like my boys ain't here. I'm not really a friendly guy. I mean, I'm friendly. I'll talk to you, but I don't like. my circle's really tight. Like it'll take a lot for me to actually like go out my way to hang out with you outside.
I mean, you've seen
what school is.
Who I would run around in the hallways. I think that's how everyone is. Everyone has their own.
They're exactly, and I didn't have that because I'm moving into a new school. So it was like, now what? Because I have my boys, but now I'm not there no more. You know, I only got. Who? I don't got nobody. You know,
Danny was never at school.
Danny was never at school.
Never.
You know, and I knew seniors because see the thing is, Danny, you know, he was obviously a year older than me, so he kind of already knew all the seniors. So it was real easy to get me into that circle. But then my senior year, it was like, oh, now all those guys are gone. Danny's gone, Kershad is gone, all the boys is gone. You feel me? Everybody who I was riding with for my junior year that were seniors is now gone.
See, no, I had something like that very similar. My freshman year, in 8th grade I was on probation. I got caught up. So my freshman year I was just a good kid, and they put me on to like the seniors, and they were good, and they all went to college. Those people, that group of people that I hung out with at my freshman year, they're all in college, all good people. Shout out to Vanessa and Gabriel and all those people.
Shout out to Oliver.
And
I love Oliver.
Oliver's great. Yeah, we're talking about the same classes.
Yeah, Oliver Vera, the GOAT, the valedictorian of class of 2019, legend.
All of those.
Shout out to Oliver.
But I was hanging out with those people, and then they graduated, and then I just found myself really alone, and then I started hanging out with all the hood rats again. But I love my hood rats.
Yeah,
I love my hood rats.
Love for them.
Because the hood rats, they keep it a buck.
And
they keep it a buck, and they don't bullshit you. I love that they don't bullshit you.
On top of keeping it a buck, I feel like there's just that, you know, that energy that you don't get nowhere else.
Nowhere else.
Because like, you know, they've seen things, they've done things, they understand things.
They can relate to things.
Oh, yeah.
And that's special. That's really
beautiful.
special.
It's beautiful. That's why there's a lot of beauty in the darkness. I always see that. You know, like, I always like to search through the deepest and darkest, because I mean, bro, I believe in karma. I'm a firm believer of karma as well, and you know, there's a little bit of good in it.
I mean, the law of attraction and karma down the same thing. Yeah, they have to. Like, if you do good, then more good's gonna come.
Of course.
Yeah, a lot of people misunderstand the concept of karma. They think, oh, it always has to be referred to bad.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's literally, oh, I said good morning to that person, so hey, maybe someone will say good morning.
No, someone will say good morning to you. Yeah, because that's how that works.
That is exactly how that works. I feel like a lot of people, they know very little. And they don't do their own research.
And so it's beautiful though, because like you look at, whenever I look at bad and good and bad, I see them as like a whole. You know, you can't have bad without good, and you can't have good without bad. They go hand in hand. You know, and so it's like, it's crazy because like, you know, you have people that like will praise you. They'll say like, you know, I fuck with your music, or nah, like your music shit. But I mean, at the end of the day, if praise didn't exist,
then you can't have people talking
then you wouldn't have shit talking. And if you only had praise, then praise would mean nothing, because at this point everybody's praising everybody. So what the fuck is praise even mean? You know, like,
when you're working on music, do you drop everything you make, or has there been a lot of songs where you're like, yeah, everyone is telling me this is dope, but I don't fuck with this, so we're gonna scratch that one? Or do you like to drop everything that you make? You think everything you make is solid?
So,
what is that process like?
I have a lot of music right now that's not dropped, and it's old. It's getting old. It's starting to catch dust. But
are you gonna drop a project with it or not?
You know, usually that's what we do with those songs. You know, oh, this shit is 6 months old. I never dropped it because I was always like, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I guess
so it was like, that's probably what happens to those songs, is they end up getting tossed on a project.
Because I personally believe that you can really judge not only an artist but a man and or woman or whatever you identify as.
Or woman. And whatever you identify as.
You can tell who they are by cis, what they choose not to.
Trans.
Cis, trans.
I don't know the rest of them. That's all I know. I know cis is
what are your pronouns before I ask you? Before I say anything else.
They're he and him.
Oh, he and him. Oh, I appreciate that. Mine are he and him as well.
Oh.
Back to what I was saying, you can really judge a man by what he doesn't do. What he chooses not to drop, what he makes, and then chooses not to drop. That's how I usually can go about an artist. If I can listen to something and realize, okay, yeah, you can see this is well thought out. If all of them are concise, you can see, okay, he's putting time, effort in. Because I don't think that you should make 100 songs and drop 100 songs.
Oh, no.
I think you should drop 100 songs.
There's some that got to get cut out.
There's some that you're just getting practice. And I personally don't like when I hear a song and I'm like, oh, this is practice to you.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit.
Well, I mean,
because I feel like your music should have longevity. I should be able to listen to your music for 5 years
from now
and be like, fuck yeah.
That shit is
like, think about when you listen to something like from Drake or when you listen to something like that.
All of that shit.
It doesn't matter where the fuck it's at.
And the timeline.
It's solid. It's solid.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you put out your practice, you ruin everything else. You really taint all of it.
The legacy.
Because what if that's the only song they listen to and it's fucking shit?
And they're like, yeah, I don't want to listen to him.
Yeah, because that song's shit.
Because that's what I heard, and that's how it must be the rest of it, you know, because that's what he's dropping.
So, how do you think Danny and all the people around you's work ethic has affected you?
So Danny's work ethic is crazy. I always love to talk about Daniel because like I really look up to Daniel.
I do too.
Just
really
because
do too.
like
his work ethic, I want to get on the same fucking level as him.
So like if you just spend a day with Daniel, the first thing you'll notice about him is that in his room he has a board, a whiteboard in his room, and it's filled with goals. And he'll go by checking off each goal, and he'll go by erasing it, and he'll have this format of what he's gonna do today. Oh, today I'm gonna edit this song, I'm gonna post this song, I'm gonna finish this verse, and that's it. And then on the side, he probably has like, you know, Staychillin music, 870 something subscribers, and with a little hyphen through it or a little dash through it, and 1,000 is the goal, obviously. And you know, he'll just go through there and constantly update his board.
Do you have a board as well?
I don't. You know, I don't have a board.
I have on my notes on my phone, I write down so I have longevity goals, right?
Right.
And then I have little goals for the day. Yep. And I every night before I go to bed, because I have insomnia, so it just gives me something to fucking do.
Okay.
I'd like to do that. And I like to add little goals. Yeah, he's not the person who led me to do it, but he was one of the first people who was like, oh, you can really fucking do it.
You can, bro. You can take a lot of advantage of that because there's a lot of advantages. And I mean, Daniel, another thing about him is like, you know, the books he reads, they're all about.
Do you
like,
read books? What books
I do love reading books.
Put me on a book.
Have you read The Power of Habit?
No.
That's a really good book. It just talks about like, you know, how if you do things like for like over 30 days, it starts to become a habit in your mind, and your brain produces these habits just for like the sole purpose of making room for more thoughts. So we have this part in our brain that's like basically its job is to do habits. So you know, you got people with horrible habits that they'll beat their dick every single night, and that's horrible, by the way.
It's all pornography is off for you, and if you're
very bad,
and if you're beating your meat,
fucks up your serotonin, fucks up all of it. You know,
you can't make no muscles if you have no testosterone
level goes down.
Yeah, you cannot. You're only supposed to fuck when you gotta fuck.
Yeah, no, and so like
he said beat your dick all the time.
People have habits like that. You know, that's very real for the majority of people, that because nowadays it's so easy to you know, look up a female naked. You know, you can you get your works in, you know, whatever you search up, that's on you.
No, I don't like that. I've never liked that. I feel weird about myself.
And then afterwards you're like, damn, like I really just nutted to a female who has no clue who I am.
See, in my in my teenage life, I've never, like, ever since I lost my virginity, I don't beat my meat, bro.
Yeah, no,
because I know I can get pussy. You feel me?
Of course. The thing about it is,
literally,
the thing about it is like, so that book of habit, you know, going back to it, you know, it just talks about like how we accumulate all these bad habits, and it'll start from like, oh, I'm gonna just do it.
I'm gonna read that. What is bad habits? Because
it's called The Power of Habit.
Currently, I'm trying to quit smoking.
Yeah,
I'm done with weed.
I'm proud of you, bro.
I'm done with weed because
that's good. I've set the intention already.
Yeah, because I had been smoking weed since 6th grade every day.
That's a long time.
Nonstop. And even when I was on probation that first time, I still fucking did it.
Man.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
the other day,
that's crazy.
The other day I was really reflecting on it, and I was like, I have never gone more than 2 months or a month without doing it.
Right.
So I personally want to challenge myself
to see how long
the next time I smoke is gonna be my birthday, and I'm gonna have about 4 ounces. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have fucking wax. I'm gonna overdose with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not literally, right?
But to that point.
Because I understand that I don't have an issue with doing drugs, but I do understand that substance abuse is an issue, and especially when you get sad, you try to self-medicate.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
That's not good.
Did you have any experience with pills and shit? Did you ever fuck around with that? Because I know I went through a little Xan phase.
Everybody has that little. I feel like, you know,
a little Xan, the lean phase.
So it was probably like my sophomore, it was probably freshman or sophomore year. You know, I was at Turner, and there was this one kid. He had just moved in from like I don't even know where, but you know, shout out to him. And like, you know, he was always cool with me. He always had like a little cholo swag to him. You know, he rocked his hairnet, his fucking long socks and Converse, his Dickie shorts. You know, he had the little swag to him.
Yeah, his aesthetic.
And you know, we and him were cool, like I said. And I remember one time he offered me like a little pill. He's like, you know, take half of it. And I was like, all right. It was a Xanax.
You have so much fun.
And I had, you know, it's so funny because I remember I did not feel affected. Like, at all. Like, I was in the library, I was sitting there, and I remember I did feel sleepy, and I was like, maybe it's that, you know, and I was like, you know, I told him, I was like, bro, I don't feel shit. You know, I was like, give me the other half. And he gave me the other half, and I took that bitch. And I promise you, like, I didn't feel nothing. Like, I had, like, swear I had zero effect on me.
When I was in, like, 7th and 8th grade, that's when we went through that phase, right? And we were really young. So when you're really young, you start developing, like you said, these awful habits. And I got to see firsthand what the opioid epidemic was. I've seen friends.
Horrible. It's horrible.
It's really awful. They turn into zombies.
Literally, they don't know what they're doing.
And the worst part about it, and I wouldn't come to find out this until I think my sophomore year, you can literally press pills and make so much fucking money. Like, I came to the conclusion that all of the pills that I think most of our contemporaries have congested are fake. Because
a lot.
All of them, dude, I'm not going to snitch on myself, right? But, like, pressing pills is not difficult at all. It's cheaper. You buy the brick wholesale, and most of the times it's fentanyl.
Yep.
And we're seeing that with perks now, right?
Yep.
But with Xannies, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen friends legit lose. So I was more afraid to. That's why I always stick with weed. I was like, I know I got issues, so I'm just smoke the pain away. You feel me?
For sure.
And then when we got into lean, lean's just way too expensive. First of all, if you're addicted to lean, you're rich.
And you're not getting no real shit either.
It's terrible.
Unless it's like, you know, sealed up, you know. But I mean, I never fucked with none of those drugs. For me, it's...
I was around degenerates. Like, straight up fucking degenerates.
I hear you.
Like...
Lowest of the lows.
No, I love them, but fuck.
But it's still love, of course. I'm not saying it's not love.
Like, would I want my children to be around them?
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
Absolutely
never.
Never. Fuck, you better get away from them.
Of course.
Yeah, but...
There's always love there.
But I feel like experimenting with drugs like that is vital, and seeing firsthand experiences is important because that's how you get to learn. Yeah, you learn. Like, the best... teacher is life, literally.
Of course,
that's
the only way to learn.
You have to.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
see,
you do.
And you know, it's dope that you say that because I always like living by this like quote. You know, I can't even remember who said it off the top of my head right now, but it's like, you know, it doesn't matter if you like, you know, wisdom is not. It's not something you could just hand down. It's something that's gained. Yeah, it's through experience. You know, so a very wise person
goes through so much shit.
On top of that, like he could tell you like, you know, like this and that, and he could give you the best advice of your life.
You're not going to give a fuck until you experience it.
You're not going to intake that, and you're not going to process it. And it could probably be the stupidest statement, but until you go through that, and you'll finally be able to understand, like, that's what he was telling me. That's that wisdom. And, you know,
and that's that worst, like when your parents tell you something, and then you're like, nah,
whatever.
That can't
and then you go about, and then it happens.
And then you gotta call him like, hey, I need you to pick me up.
What the fuck you just say? I thought this and that and that this.
I thought you was too good. I thought you couldn't get caught. I thought you was a big bad motherfucker. And then you're like, I'm sorry, you're right. That's something I've learned as I got older because I feel like I was very naive coming up. I was like, well, I'm smarter than everyone else. I know. I learned that you get caught like that, so I'm not gonna move like that.
Right.
But you get so caught up in whatever the fuck you're doing.
The fast life. That's what it is.
So eventually you get got. And I feel like everyone in our community, well, not gonna say everyone, most of us have experience with
something like
trapping. Yeah. We've all trapped.
Just at least something, you know.
Why do you feel like everyone in this community traps?
Well, it's quick money.
It's really fast.
And I mean, but see, that's what you get caught up on. You get caught up on that idea of fast money and living fast, and it feels good. Best believe it feels good holding fucking $4,000 cash to your ear and saying, "Look, I made it." You know, in reality, $4,000 is not shit.
Not shit.
And you're risking your fucking life over $4,000, and it's not shit.
You're risking your freedom. That's something that
your freedom.
That's
your
something
life,
that I always. I didn't realize how much I was not appreciating my freedom. It's not till recently where I'm like, I'm free. Goddamn, I'm free. I'm not in no fucking cage. I'm free.
Right.
Like coming up, I never appreciated it. I was like, this is America. We're all free. Suck my dick. I never felt, right? But as I've gotten older, I'm like, no, that shit can easily be taken away from me.
Just like that. And it could be taken like permanently. You know, you could be out and free, but you're still not free, you know? Yeah. You're trapped. Majority of people, the majority of people here in the United States, like I'm even willing to put it like that, like probably like 80% of the fucking population is stuck in the rat race. Yeah. It's stuck in this cycle wherever they've literally given up their freedom. At this point, they're working 9 to 5 for
nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5 if you're doing it right. As long as you have your own little side hustle and you're reinvesting and you're doing all the right
growing
moves.
Something for yourself, because at the end of the day, it's self-improvement. You know, you're not gonna bust your ass for 40 years working for somebody and not getting nothing out of it.
Some people
they get used to that. They get used to that salary, that weekly salary of miserable fucking shit money that's only gonna fucking make it end-to-end pay. Like you're not gonna be able to live right.
Can I tell you something that I used to think just like that, right? But I work with this Cuban guy, right? He comes from one of the poorest parts of Cuba, right? this man doesn't work barely any hours. You know what I'm saying? But he's so fucking happy.
He makes it work.
He's so fucking
because
happy.
Happiness is not your wealth.
I was like, why are you so happy? You're not making no fucking money. Don't you see it? Don't you have more aspirations? And he told me, he was like, I have a Honda Civic that's 2020, right? That is a Ferrari where I come from. That my house is a mansion where I come from. We didn't even have balls to play with.
Right.
So me just coming here for 8 hours a day, not doing shit, that I'm living good. I'm living the good life.
Right. And I mean,
and it made me realize, like, oh wow, maybe I'm too ambitious, maybe I'm not appreciating a lot of things, but it really just comes down to how you grew up. If you didn't grow up with shit and now you have a little something, you're gonna be really happy. It feels really good.
I think that happiness comes from, like inner self. Money does not define what happiness is, because you could look up countless videos of like people who don't even have a home and they got their little kid with them, and that little kid is looking up to her father like fucking king, like God, like he has everything, even though he doesn't have anything. But it's just kind of it's like it's with, I feel like knowledge is what power is nowadays, and people have mistaken knowledge for like for it being wealth, wealth being power, whenever it's not the case.
I'm still, for some reason, and I know I'm educated enough not to think this way, but I personally believe that if I can gain all this economic wealth, then I will be happy enough to
but see, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. I know that, but in my head I'm just like, if I can get that mill, if I can touch 100,000, if I can touch 500,000, if I can touch this and that, then maybe just then I'm not gonna wake up sad every day.
Yeah.
But I think it's not until I'm gonna get in that position I'm gonna realize, oh no, I'm sad sometimes.
Yeah.
Like accepting to be sad for me has always been the hardest part. 'Cause I'm like, why the fuck am I sad?
Yeah, why?
But I've learned recently, like, you just wake up bummed out. You wake up bummed out and you're just like...
Hey, but see, you can't let that get to you either. You can't, because what happens is, like, life, it's a snowball effect. The way that I see it, one small action will lead to the next and the next and the next and the
Literally.
next. And it'll compile. So if you wake up bummed out, and you're thinking like, damn, like, fuck, this morning's already going shit. Well, guess what? Here's some more shit.
Yeah, because you're already
on that wavelength.
No,
you're already
that's
vibrating
right.
at that.
Now when I wake up sad or I have a bad dream,
you gotta pull yourself.
Go make me some food. Go water my plants. Go do some bullshit. Go for a run.
Something.
Work out. Do something. You have to do something. And for anyone struggling with any sadness,
real shit,
the biggest thing I can recommend to you is put it out there and see how it feels. And if it doesn't feel right, then move a different way. And what I mean by that is, if you're feeling awful, you're having suicidal thoughts, be like, all right, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. And put it out there. And if you don't feel right about it, then don't fucking do it. Don't do it in general,
It
right?
does not sound right. Don't kill yourself. If you ever thinking about suicide, there's hotlines.
Because
you
all
can
it
personally
does...
contact me.
Yeah, hit me up.
I'm willing to help.
All it does...
Everybody's been in dark places.
And dark places
you can pull yourself
are the
out
most... Like, for me, are the most beautiful places. But going back to what I was saying is... I lost my train of thought. Fuck. Going back to
it doesn't feel right. Don't do it.
If it doesn't feel right, doesn't do it. But also remember that if you're feeling angry or you're feeling really mad, sometimes it's better just to type it out, but don't send it. Just feel it, because if you're putting out negative vibes, you're gonna get that shit back.
Right back at you.
I've learned that.
It'll slap you right back. It'll hit you harder.
It'll hit you harder than the blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Harder than the Dutch.
Them bitches be getting me sick.
Yeah, I don't like Dutches.
Why?
Cause it's just nasty, too harsh on the throat, man.
I like them, but they always get me fucking sick. They always get me sick. Like, I always get the shitters.
Yeah, no.
I always get the shitters.
Cool on Dutch. You can pass that Dutch that way.
Really? What if you didn't notice this and you still smack that bitch?
I'd probably tell it's a Dutch by looking at it. I'll probably hit it. I'm not saying that, but like...
You don't discriminate?
I don't discriminate.
I don't discriminate.
If it's going around the train, I'm personally not going to put a Dutch on the table. That's what I'm trying to get at.
This year I made a new thing where if I don't see it get rolled, I don't
Wow.
I don't play with it.
That's not bad.
Because I've seen people throw heroin into it. I've seen people throw coke,
PCP,
fucking Xanax,
anything.
No drizzle, fucking lean on that bitch.
Fuck
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
So I've made that a new rule. But slowly I've been trying to watch. Sober Luis is gonna come, and I'm excited to see what's
he's gonna glow up.
I hope so.
It's so crazy though, because like I've had points in my life where I've gone a very long period without smoking, and it was not for any reason in specific. It was just like me, I'm gonna go out my way and become sober. After a while of being sober, you start to feel high. Like, you literally start to feel high.
See, that's what I work, because I can't remember the last time I was sober for longer than 2 months. Like, that's really sad for me to say.
That's a minute.
But like, I've literally usually I would be like, I'm an OG in this bitch. I've been smoking since I was like 12.
Right, flex.
Yeah, but the older I've gotten, the more I realize I'm like, that's really fucking sad. Like,
it's bad. Yeah.
Like, I don't think weed is bad, but I definitely do believe that I to a certain extent, I have a substance issue.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, everything in moderation, and I think for me, I'm just gonna cut it all out and see what the fuck happens.
And it's hard, man.
It's a bitch. I can't
urges.
speak for
you get urges.
And everyone makes fun of that, but and I think that's in my personal opinion. I think being called a fiend, we need to change that stigma. Because I feel like some people are fiends, but they don't want to accept it.
You don't want to
accept it, so they're like, no, I'm not. I can quit whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, and then
never quit.
Pop another one, smoke another one, drink another one, and they're not fiends.
Have you ever had a point in your life where you've been in a dark point to the point where you were abusing the fuck out of any drug? And has that ever led to any beautiful music? Because I feel like some of my most beautiful thoughts have come from me being just
drugs.
Not just drugs, but being in the darkest fucking like
sad and drugs. That's what it is.
Sad and drugs.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
That's why I'm done with drugs. I'm cool.
Me personally, man.
Sober.
I've made a lot of like, crazy music off of drugs. I remember like, I had one song that was like, it's on SoundCloud. It's called No Drugs. Funny enough, it's called No Drugs. But I was actually under the influence whenever making that song, and it was a very dark song, and it was like, it's beautiful because like I play it back now, and like, I still have friends that, even though that song's over 3 years old, they'll still slap it and be like, yeah, like this is my shit. That No Drugs is my shit. And, a lot of darkness, there's a lot of beauty in it. Like, there's a lot of beauty in that darkness.
That's something that I have learned. You have to look at the positives, because if you get stuck in the negatives, you're going to be stuck in the negatives, and you're not going to want to get yourself out of there. Because if you're being negative all day, you're going to be negative until you realize that this shit is whack.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's too late.
And I mean, I feel like, as humans, we
all feel sad. Everyone feels fucking sad.
Everybody has to.
Everyone feels angry. Everyone feels frustrated.
It's okay to feel those emotions at times, but you also have to remember that it's not like permanent. It's at the end of the day, it's an emotion, and
time
eventually, eventually you'll have to get yourself out of that. And you will never be happy until you make the choice and say, I will be happy, because that's how that works.
That is how that works.
You can't be happy unless you've decided that you're going to be happy.
Like, going back to what you said earlier, you got to fake it till you make it. I learned that very early on, that if you just smile throughout the day and you fake a smile, and you might be hurting, you might be wanting to cry.
It'll get better.
No, not even that. Throughout the day, you'll find yourself really smiling.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, I'm fucking cheesing in this bitch, yeah.
Sure.
And you might not be smiling the whole day, but you're going to find yourself, you're going to be faking it to the point where you're like, oh, I'm happy as fuck right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, it's because life is such a...
It's a bitch.
You
got to make it your bitch.
It's a bitch, but like, it's so like, I don't know what's the word that I want to use, but like, it'll just like take you places that you've never been before, like things you would never understand, and like you'll never really know why certain things will happen to you until
you just gotta ride it.
Until you finally get to that point, and you start to see the bigger picture, and you're like, hold up, like every moment that led up to this, that crazy tragic event that happened in my life, it prepared me for this exact moment that I'm sitting in right now.
Do you look at everything in the big picture? Because like for me, I think I came to the big picture realization like my freshman year. I was like, I have to do this in order to get this and this and this and that.
Well, so
when you look at your music, is it a big picture thing, or do you look at all of life big picture, or you like to keep it in the moment?
So there's a balance. I feel like you have to have a balance, because the problem arises whenever people, they think, okay, big picture, I'm making all this music, eventually I'm gonna be a millionaire and I'm gonna be happy. That's what they think.
That's not.
But then you get to that million, and you're sitting there like, well, I'm here now, but it feels just like it did whenever I didn't have the million. So am I really happy? And now you're off chasing an idea that's not gonna bring you happiness. So there's always that big picture at the end of the day, but that's kind of set off aside. I love living in the present. I think you have to learn to love the present, because at the end of the day, the future is never gonna come around. Tomorrow happens, you're still in the present. And I thought tomorrow was the future. No, it's still the present. You're still in this very exact same moment. So I love living.
Thank you. Because I am one of those people who likes to say, let me put my head down, fuck whatever the day's about. I know that where the fuck I want to be. I know that I'm going to get where I want to be. So let me put my head down. Let's get to work. Thank you. I'm going to try that. Because I'm the type of person who, Everyone likes to call me very positive, but I'm a negative motherfucker. I'm really
hey, bro,
negative.
And hear me out, bro. You know, you call me a positive person, and you call Danny a positive person, but bro,
we're all set. Yeah, we are.
At the end of the day,
we all people.
There's always pain. You know, that's something that you can't avoid unless you're not fucking human. You know, pain is gonna come regardless from any circumstance, from everything. You know, and you got to learn how to cope with it. You got to learn how to live with it, and you got to know, hey, I know it's down right now,
but we're gonna be up.
We're gonna make this shit better. You know, because we have to. You have to make it better because nobody's gonna go around and do that for you. Nobody's gonna come down and swoop you and fucking throw you into the heavens and say you made it.
And that's why that's where relationships always go bad, in my opinion. When you start relying on that person to bring you up, it's not only too much for them, but it's not enough for you. And you start asking for more and more, and they can't give you more. And that's where I've firsthand learned that's where relationships go sour. When you start depending on them for something. Friendship should not be, oh, you give me this, so I'm this with you. Yeah. It should be, I fuck with you as human, like that. That's something that I learned from all of that. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see the music in 5 years? Where do you see the music in 10 years, 12 years, etc.? Are you still making music? Are you going to be a producer? Are you going to be a fucking engineer?
Right. So I think that there's, you know, the paths. I like seeing life. Like I was talking to Haven about this not too long ago. I was with Fern in Haven. We had just smoked a little bit, and I was telling him, like,
shout out to Haven. I love you, Haven. That's one of my best friends in the whole world. I love that motherfucker.
He's beautiful. Fucking, I'm trying to tell him.
That's one of my best friends in the world.
I keep telling him he needs to be an R&B artist. I look at him and I just see like fucking like. I told him just yesterday I was on the phone. I think it was yesterday. Fernie, he called Fernie or something.
That's fucking
hilarious. And I told him, I was like, bro, like I was like, you are like Chris Brown and Jason Derulo.
Is it because he's beautiful?
Together. I think so.
It's because he's gorgeous.
He's light skinned, the colored eyes. You know.
His personality,
of course, chill as fuck, laid back as fuck.
Nah, I wouldn't call him chill.
I call him chill.
Haven can be intense.
Well, I feel like you just known him for longer, so you kind of have like that. But I feel like the personality that he puts off, like off the jump, is a very like laid back kind of chill vibe.
I love Haven. You know why I love Haven?
We're just talking about Haven.
Yeah, you know why I love Haven? Because. Like, going back to what I said earlier, and I know I keep linking things because I like having everything concise. Right. Haven will tell me if something's fucking butt awful. Right. Like, I'll come up to Haven, I'll be like, yo, I have this great idea.
That shit is not it.
And then he'll be like,
that's just not it.
That's awful.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, oh.
That's love.
I love it. So, because there's some people who will look you in your face and
they'll
like,
say, yeah, that's fucking
fantastic.
Oh my
God, you are
a genius.
You're going places. Oh, I can't wait.
They'll be lying to you straight in your face.
Straight in your fucking face. And you could follow that route. And you're fucked.
You'll be fooled.
Do you like to surround yourself with real people, or do you like yes men? Because everyone likes yes men.
Everybody you know, it's so funny because like my circle, I feel like I've always had people who support me, but I've always had people who also, you know, they'll be quick to shut me down if they see I'm doing stupid shit, and just like that, they'll be quick to tell me like, yo, bro, that shit do not go, bro. Like that beat does not bump hard enough. Go do something else. You know, I've had plenty of people like that in my life, and I think that's why I'm thankful because, you know, you know, if it's anything I love is constructive criticism because that just makes me better.
See, some people just don't know how to take constructive criticism. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a dick and the way I word it is too
straightforward,
too technical,
too brute.
I've given people constructive criticism and I like them as humans, and because I've told them something. They just don't. They're like, oh, that nigga's fucking.
Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. I don't like him. He's whack.
Yeah, and no, people are like that.
And it makes me sad because I'm like, nah, dog. I wouldn't.
That's not what you were.
I wouldn't have told you that you're shitty if I didn't like you. Because I'm
doing it out of love.
I'm doing it out of love. For sure. Yeah.
5 years from now.
Yeah. What's JohnFBaby doing? Are you still called JohnFBaby? Is that? Are you sticking with that name?
I'm riding with that.
You riding that name?
I've been riding with this shit since fucking before I was even making music. So I gotta ride with it now. You know, it's part of me. People know me as JohnFBaby. I can't just go around the corner and say, oh, call me Snoop Lion. You know, that's what Snoop Dogg did.
When he became Muslim, dude, I was in elementary for that.
You know,
I was a young ass motherfucker.
I was sitting there like. You know, and it didn't work. Why? Because, bro, he was already Snoop Dogg. You can't just be Snoop Lion the next fucking day, you know? Like, and that's exactly why he's Snoop Dogg again, because, you know, bro, it's like that. So, you know, JohnFBaby will forever be JohnFBaby, JFB, JohnFBaby. That's who I am. But 5 years from now...
Do you see the Kansas City scene to be bigger? Because I personally think that Kansas City as a whole, we're we're rising to the top. We're gonna be a top city here, and I mean Kansas City. I'm not talking about the music. I'm not talking about just our city
in general. Yeah.
Not only with the Chiefs
business,
killing it,
all of it.
Yeah, with
Everything.
Google. Ever since Google Fiber came in and did their thing with our city, I'm noticing a steady
increase.
A little tick, 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 tick,
and it
tick,
keeps
tick,
going
tick,
up.
And I love it. I fucking love it.
5 years from now, bro, you know it's so crazy because life.
You don't know what the fuck.
I could be dead by tomorrow, and I like having a realistic perception of life, and that's exactly why I always love living in the present as well, because your tomorrow is never promised. So I'm trying to live my day like it's the last day I'm on this earth. And 5 years from now, I pray to God I'm still here. I pray to God I'm still doing what I'm doing and I'm doing what I love. But life is crazy, man.
See,
it's mysterious.
That
bro.
thought gives me anxiety. And my friend Ariel loves to tell me, don't count your bread before you don't have it, because it's not your bread until you have it in your hand.
Until it's in your hand.
But that thought gives me anxiety because I know that I have so much shit that I want to do, and a lot of the shit I want to do relies on me doing other shit. So thinking like that it just gives me so much fucking anxiety. It gives me so much anxiety because it's like, look, let me tell you what my biggest fear. My biggest fear is me having an amazing idea and I get popped and no one gets to hear that idea. That's fucking scary to me.
That's dark.
Like, it's terrifying me.
It's scary, and as scary as it is, we're living that right now. And we have to accept the fact that this gun violence in our city, let's talk about the gun violence for a second, man. People are getting shot down every fucking day, bro. It's not even fun at this point. Kids are running around with guns thinking they're hot shit. Like,
can I be honest with you? I was one of those kids who thought I was hot shit because I had a gun. But it was because my first encounter with guns was at elementary. I had friends and they had older brothers who, some of them are in jail now. For gun charges. I've had friends kill people or being involved.
It's dark, man. It's bad.
And the way I see gun violence, it's a loss for both people.
For both. Nobody gains.
Yeah, because one guy loses his life to the system because you can't beat the system unless you're a fucking snitch. And if you're a fucking snitch, it's very sad, right? And the other aspect of it is you lose your life. I've lost a good amount of friends. And
sad. It's sad.
It's
man.
really, really
it's
sad.
Horrible.
But the shitty part about it is, if everyone has guns and you're paranoid that someone's gonna pop you, you're not going to be a fool and not cop a gun. You're going to cop one just in case. You don't even have to be involved in anything. Like, my mother has guns and she's not involved in jack, right? But it's just that being in that area.
Yeah.
Gun violence to me is definitely an issue, but it's like, I'm pro guns. I like the fact that we can have guns legally here in America. That's something that you don't have in other parts of the world.
I think.
But it is scary.
I mean, see, some people are pro, some people are against it. I never really digging my nose into politics just because I feel like there's an agenda and
there's always a fucking agenda and it's always being funded.
It's gonna be followed through regardless of what the fuck you believe in. Fucking Donald Trump said he was gonna build a huge ass wall that people could walk on and cars could drive through. Like, where the fuck is it? It's just a little metal fucking shitty wall. He told you this and his whole campaign was off this, but bro, at the end of the day, he didn't even do it. And guess what? He's gonna get reelected. Guess why? He'll probably tell you the fucking wall's being built again and you'll probably go and vote for his ass too.
Yeah, but I need 4 more years.
Yeah, but that's why I don't like politics, because I feel like the agenda will be followed regardless. Obama promised fucking immigrants citizenship, none of that shit. 8 years and none of that shit happened.
Can I tell you why I fell in love with politics? Because I didn't grow up with much, and the American dream has always been something that I love. I love the concept of I can come from nothing and go to something. And you don't have that dream without living in a capitalist society. You live in a socialistic society.
It's not happening.
It's not happening. And the beauty of America is that you can start with nothing and get to something. And the reason I like politics is because you have a voice. But your voice isn't always listened to, but you can put that shit out there, and somebody will fucking listen. Yeah, somebody might have the same idea.
Even somebody might not be nobody, but hey, they listen, and your opinion was voiced. We have the opportunity to voice our opinion.
Yeah, and that's why I got involved. Yeah, it's gorgeous. The freedom of speech is something that we don't value enough in this country, and it's one of my favorite amendments. That's why I've always I've had internships with governors, and I've always told them, I'm gonna take your fucking job. Like, I remember I told Brownback, I'm like, I'm gonna sit there right there. You know what I'm saying? And I when I look back at them, I'm like, imagine being a rich white guy and a little Mexican kid from the ghetto is telling you
he's gonna steal your seat.
But you can't really dismiss him.
Of course not.
You can't, because of the way the system is built up. So that's why I like politics, because I see it as a way to almost prove legitimacy to myself and everyone in my community. I like politics. I want to be a governor. I want to be some shit like that. That's
I want to be involved in politics.
I want to be able to have a voice for our people, because I feel like our people have been suppressed for so long. And our people, not only are they suppressed, but they are manipulated into believing that certain things are good for them when they're not. I also believe that there's certain industries that are taking advantage of our community, and I'm a victim of
not even certain, man.
Like the tobacco companies are taking advantage of our community.
All of it, man.
I'm one of the youths. I'm one of the youths that has been taken advantage by
poisoned.
Straight up poison. Like there's so many companies who
but
they're fucking us over.
And this is where that capitalist that evil margin comes in, because bro, of course you could say, oh, capitalist society, the American dream, da 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 da,
to a certain extent,
but it gets to a point wherever now I'm working this 9 to 5, and again, we talking about 9 to 5s, but that people get stuck in that cycle, and now it's like I'm working a 9 to 5 to get to my American dream, when in reality I'm just feeding that dude sitting at the top.
Can I tell you what the most heartbreaking thing about living and growing up in this community? It's been watching successful, like really smart kids who are going to go to college, this and that, and then they get to college, they don't know what the fuck, right? They drop out, they get a stable job, make 20 an hour or something an hour, right? They think it's better than what the fuck they were living as children, right?
No.
Well, for some people, it's better than how they were living as children, right? Or good enough.
Yeah.
And they get stuck in that. I've seen so many talented soccer players, basketball players, football players, artists.
Stuck in construction.
Stuck, because that's the only route they know. And the worst part about it is our culture that we have built in this community. It's go get it on your own, but a lot of these kids can't go get it on their own without being provided the resources.
The opportunity. Yeah,
and that's part of the reason why I do these interviews, because I understand there's so much artists in our community, and if we don't all link up and get together and say this is our fucking movement, we're gonna be forgotten.
Promise, and that's why Staychillin is so beautiful and what we're creating, because it's a platform. Staychillin is a movement. That's how we see it. It's not a group of artists.
Dream big forever.
Dream forever big. It's a movement.
I said it backwards.
And it goes. Dream big forever, big dream forever. Like say it any way you fucking want, man.
I have that sticker on my weed jar.
That sticker is everywhere, and it also stands for DFB. If you didn't know that.
Really? Oh, that's A1 advertising.
Danny FBaby.
Oh, and they're all capital too.
Yeah.
Danny, you're a fucking genius.
Hey, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So. That's
wow.
Yeah. But
did you make that shit up, or is that legit? Was that like?
No, that's. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Oh wow.
So Danny FBaby, Dream Forever Big, DFB.
That's so fucking smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart. I didn't know that. And I was talking to him while he was making those stickers. Like while he was sketching that shit out. Yeah. Oh, fuck. I feel like he would have mentioned that.
Yeah,
That's really clever. I have that shit on my weed jar. Yeah, it's somewhere in the police station. Somewhere in the police station, just sitting there.
It's sitting on a gas station. I've seen it at Dollar General.
I've seen it at 42nd.
Yeah, see, it's at 42nd. Yeah, it's everywhere, bro. But it's a movement, and at the end of the day, bro, if we don't help each other out,
there's not going to be shit. Like, look, the way I look at it is, look at scenes like Atlanta, look at scenes like the West Coast, look at scenes like in the East Coast. The beauty of it all is, for the most part, they kill each other, right?
That's the dark part.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there is still a connected community. And that's something that I feel like we've been lacking for a very huge time. And that's something I've discussed with Danny, that I think that is, for me personally, the long-term goal. Like, I don't make music, but I also understand in order to have a thriving industry, you have to have producer, you have to have a poppin' engineer, you have to have a poppin' artist, you have to have
all of it. You need all of it.
You need all the different puzzle pieces to make it all work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
that's my
makes perfect sense.
Because lately I've been seeing that a lot of people, they want interviews, but they're
not doing nothing.
And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. If you feel
that does not mean
you're not doing shit, it's just
come get your interview.
No,
come get it.
No, that's not. With my personal goals and my personal objectives, they are strictly to focus on artists, and that doesn't just mean music.
Right, it's everything.
It's anyone who makes art, anyone who's
photography.
Well, I've done a photographer. I want to do Alex. And I want to do Damaris, a makeup artist.
Anything that is art.
And where I'm noticing is a lot of people, they use their, and this doesn't sound rude, but their narcissism, and they think, well, I'm fucking cool.
Yeah.
I deserve one too. And it's like, yeah, you probably do. You're an amazing person. I love you. You're great. You just don't meet my criteria. And they can call me a dick, and they call me whatever, but it doesn't fall in line with my personal goals. And I like being a good person, but at the same time, I'm not going to put my personal goals before anyone else.
It's so dope.
Because I want to build a community. I want all of us to look back in 6 years and be like, bro, we've been working together since we didn't have no fucking money.
And that's why what you're doing, bro, is dope. Like honestly, like I appreciate what you're doing because somebody has to do it.
Somebody.
If nobody does it, then who's gonna sit here and talk to the artist? Who's gonna sit here and nobody's gonna do it. Somebody has to do it.
And that's why I start. Cause I remember I did Danny's interview and then I didn't do anything else. But
bro, fat minute.
You know why though? Because every artist I would reach out to, they just pump fake like a motherfucker. Like it would piss me off. So I was like, man, fuck this shit. And it wasn't until recently where I realized. You either have to pressure somebody, or you have to realize, well, I guess you aren't motivated enough to put yourself out there. It was a pleasure talking to you. You're great, but fuck you. I'm going to interview someone who deserves it.
Actually cares. And that's why I was so excited to do this interview because, the way that I see it is, on top of the fact that you're literally providing a platform for me to be heard.
And I don't even have that huge of a platform. That's the crazy part about it.
It counts.
It does count.
It counts and it accumulates and it'll stack up and it'll all be worth it at the end of the day if we continue and pursue it.
But we have to for the sheer fact that, and part of the reason why I do it, and I don't know if Danny knows this, and we talked a lot about Danny, but what he has done, standalone, is going to be great. But if there's not other factions,
there has to be other things that are helping that rise.
Then how the fuck are we going to get up out? Because on my personal opinion, I want to see all you motherfuckers eat. I want to be able to go to a show eventually. And not just at the Roxy, like go to a legit show and watch you guys do your fucking thing.
Yeah, we're talking watch Danny, full ass arena.
That's what I want. I want to see Danny at the Sprint Center. I want him to say, "What's up? This is my home. This and that."
Yeah.
I want that. I want that so bad. And it really took.
It will happen.
I know for a fact. Like, come on.
It'll happen.
And I've thought for a long time. I'm like, how can I? Because I don't make music. I'm not a producer. I'm not none of that. But how can I use my voice and my analytical skills or whatever the fuck you want to call them? To help these people, because I love music. I don't know if you noticed, I love music. I keep an eye on every little artist, like every little artist.
You got to.
Yeah, and I feel like not enough people appreciate. They don't appreciate it.
It's so crazy.
And I appreciate the shit out of every little artist. If you put out one song, I'm gonna be like, all right, bro, I'm gonna put you in a little check mark. I have a list actually. I bookmark it. And I go through it. Like I review all of Danny's shit. Anyone that I personally know, I review, and anyone I don't know, I personally review.
I think that's a problem here in our city is that. People will support, but they will only support if you're matching a certain wave, a certain move. And I noticed that here on our city,
we really want to be West Coast, but we're not West Coast.
Gangster rap. That's the way.
There's nothing wrong with gangster rap, but what I have found is I'm not gonna want to fucking link with you if I know that you have a criminal record and I can't be in the same room as a criminal, or else I go to jail.
Right.
That's how my probation.
That's how. And it works.
It fucking sucks. But you can't make money off of that gangster shit. I'm sorry. To anyone watching this, I love gangster music. I love West Coast rap. I love that, the
sound.
I love the sound. But unfortunately, that is not marketable. And if you want to see yourself make money and you want to live the life that you're rapping about without having to look over your corner every time, you can't do it with just talking about guns and weed and stuff.
And that's what music is becoming.
And it's so fucking sad. And that's why I was so happy. If you watch the Fern interview, the last interview I did, he talks about it's not just about weed. It made me so fucking happy to hear him say that. Because he's a little pothead and he loves smoking weed and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Nothing wrong with it at all.
But him saying that, no, it's about the music, it's about the culture, that's what I care about. Because I love listening to all these West Coast inspired artists because a lot of Latinos who live here, they migrated from either Mexico or they have cousins in California, wherever it may be, right? So I get where the influence is coming from, but I'm concerned that it's going to be a niche. And the problem with niches is we said money isn't everything, right? But in order for your career to jump off, you have to be able to perform. You have to venues have to be able to feel safe enough to let you perform.
Yeah.
And if all you're rapping about is, I'm going to go kill my ops, you think a venue's going to fuck with that? No, a venue's
not. It's going to be hard to get
It's going to be really, really hard. And it's going to be really, really hard for professional people to work with you.
Yeah, because they don't view you as professional. And but it's crazy because I look at what our music is becoming and me personally, I every once in a while I do like to dig into that side because I consider that fun music.
I like that music. And an artist that I look at, if you look at the Gotti Gang people, if you look at the Leo Youngin people, if you look at NF Youngin and all those people, if you look at those people, they're literally representing the part, they're showing our city.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be anything you are. If you look at Leo Youngin, you look at NF Youngin, all those people, they're really rapping about the city. They're rapping about what they're going through. And I love that music. What I don't like is when every song you're dropping is about that West Coast
portrayal.
You're sounding like Shoreline Mafia. And I like Shoreline Mafia. I like OGs. I like all that. But you're not representing the city. And they love talking about, oh, I'm putting on for the city. I'm not sneak dissing anyone before anyone says that, but
of course,
I'm talking general. Like, you can't say that you are trying to put on for the city and not represent the city with the music.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, guys, we don't live in LA. We don't live in the West Coast. This is Kansas City.
Kansas City.
We have a high gun crime rate. We have a high opioid epidemic going on in the suburbs. There's a lot of shit going on, and I like seeing the Gotti Gang people. I like seeing artists like that really rap about what the fuck is going on in the city. And I love their music. I appreciate them. Like, what is it? YB? No, what is it?
YBC?
I like their music for the same reason. Because yes, they're rapping about drugs and rapping, but that's their life. You can't tell them that's not their life because that's what they're choosing to represent. And I value that music. But I personally am just scared that we lose legitimacy when that's all we rap about.
No.
Because our music has to be a reflection of our culture.
You have to believe that legitimacy is lost, and that's what I'm trying to get at is, like, at the end of the day, originally there was a musical agenda being followed. You look at artists like Cardi B, you look at artists like Doja Cat, you look at artists like Megan Thee Stallion. You know, music. If you go back and you listen to some fucking
well, rap music was initially meant for us to talk about. We're being suppressed. We're being taken advantage of, and that is the origin of hip hop.
That is what it was.
And somewhere along the line, it
became gangster. It became fucking pop that pussy. It became Xanax. It became bitches. It became strip club.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're an artist who makes that kind of music, I'm not gonna want to not talk to you for it because obviously
that's not what the goal is, right? We're not trying to get at that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, you fit a niche, and if your shit pops, I'm gonna slap it. I don't know. I love listening.
It's gonna get slapped.
I love listening to ignorant shit. I was a little pop fan.
Fuck yeah. I love that shit too. Tell me more about the person you're shooting up and the drugs that you're fucking ingesting. I care.
As long as there is a long-term goal and you're understanding that you can't always rap about drugs and money.
And you look at every artist, man. 21 Savage.
He had the best character development. I think we've discussed it before.
Beautiful. Like the way that he's grown throughout. You could see his maturity. You could see how his music.
And that's
changed.
what I would love to see for a lot of the street rappers that we're seeing coming up now. I want them to slowly transition to realize, because I'm tired of seeing, they get a couple bands off a couple songs, right, and they reinvest it into drugs. That is the stupidest shit you could do. If you get money off music, do not invest it back into drugs.
It goes right back into music.
Go put it back into your music. Put it right back to just don't reinvest into drugs.
Yep.
Let your drug money stay as drug money, and if you're selling drugs right, you never have to put any money. You never have to put any of your own money. The beautiful thing about selling drugs, it's almost like the stocks.
It's a flip.
It's almost like the stocks. You keep putting in, you re-up, you double up, and eventually you do make a profit, but if you're mixing the numbers and you're doing all that, you're fucking up. Don't fuck up your music money by investing it into drugs.
That's dumb.
It's really fucking stupid. And if you want to be an artist and your aspirations are not to be Pablo Escobar and are to be the next big rapper,
real shit,
then don't do that. Because I'm seeing that way too often. You might be saying, what the fuck, what is my opinion value? And it doesn't matter. Do what the fuck you want. I'm not no one to tell you nothing.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not your dad, I'm not your mom, I'm not none of that.
Right.
But I really want the scene in Kansas City to grow and be legit. But we can't have that if we're copying sounds.
We're being someone we're not.
We can't be someone.
At the end of the day.
And I get some people did grow up in Cali shit, but let's make our own sound. Let's find our own version of it.
This is what's so beautiful about Kanye West, and this is why me personally, I am very strongly influenced from Kanye West.
Me too.
Just, bro,
I'm proud to say I fuck with Ye
because Kanye West
was himself.
Whenever he popped up onto the scene, people were wearing baggy clothes.
You think I'd be wearing this polo right now if it wasn't for Ye?
You wouldn't.
Fuck no.
Kanye West brought that onto the scene. Yeah. He pulled up in the skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Nobody else was wearing skinny jeans. Kanye put up in the skinny jeans. He put up in the pink polo. He did this. He did that. He came onto the scene as himself. He did not come onto the scene to be a gangster rapper like everybody else was, wearing the big baggy clothes and the nice fancy chains. He came on there and said, hey, look, this is my music. This is heartless. And this is what hip-hop can be.
And for the artists who are inspired with West Coast rap, there's nothing wrong with that. But just as long as it's being true to yourself. You
gotta have your own way to approach it.
Yeah, because if you sound like every other West Coast rapper and you're not living in the West Coast,
putting anything on the table.
Yeah, what the fuck?
You're a poser at that point.
At that point, you're a poser. And I do understand that a lot of us do have... I have family in Long Beach. I got family in Sacramento. I got people in LA. I got a cousin who was in Eagleton. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have family down there,
right.
But we got to make our own move. We got to make our own sound.
This is our own city.
We can't write... And a lot of people talk shit on dick writing, but a lot of the motherfuckers who are making West Coast sounding music, I hate to be that guy, but you're dick writing them. You're dick writing. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you like that music and you like it and you should make it right, because you should make what you like. but try to find what makes you and put it out there. Because why do you like an artist? Is it because of their music? No,
no.
It's because of who they are.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what my goal is. With
that's why these interviews are so important.
I want people to understand who I am, you know, as a person, not as an artist, not as a dude that you're gonna be playing in your car. No, I want, because you start to love an artist when you gain an emotional attachment to that
why
person.
Why do so many of us love Tyler the Creator while he was talking about raping people?
Yeah, he was saying
because he was fucking hilarious.
Wild, funny dude.
And that's why we rocked with him.
Yeah, because he was wild.
That's why we rock with Ye. Well, not now, right? But he's been through some shit, so we get it. We see that full cycle.
Yeah, he has a growth. I mean, his growth is. I honestly, I love his growth. People aren't a fan of it, but I love seeing what it's become.
He's a fucking billionaire now, and I love it. It makes me so happy. And I do think that Virgil getting that job before him did fuck his little mind up. Because imagine you put somebody on and then they take it from you. Yeah. I get why he'd be butthurt. I get why he would be mad at Drake. I get why. I understand it. And that's something that I think,
radio, fuck you.
I understand it. I get all that. And that's what makes an artist when you realize that they're a person. Because you're listening to music and you're like, oh shit, he's talking about the time his mom died. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know you can feel that. Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about the time he went through depression. Okay, he really good. You know what I'm saying?
People relate.
You can't always relate to turn up music.
No, you can't. You can't relate to fucking walking in the street, toting guns and shooting your ops. No,
not
everybody goes through that.
You can't.
But not everybody goes through that.
To a certain extent. And you know, when you're toting a gun, I find that when I'm listening to bad music, it just makes me. I like when I
feel lit. You feel like you want to go fuck some shit up.
No, every time I have a gun on me, or every time I allegedly have a gun on me, right?
Allegedly.
Right?
Because you don't.
I don't, right? Never.
Allegedly.
Right? Every time I do, I always listen to peaceful. I like listening to Frank Ocean.
Okay.
I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
Because I know if I listen to like a St. Louis rapper, right? I'm gonna just.
I just want to get on it.
I want to get lit. I want to shoot the whole club up.
It makes you feel like that.
Yeah.
That's the goal of that music is to put you into that. And you know, frequencies actually have a lot to do with like
with your brain. Yeah, it has a lot to do with where it puts you.
You know, 440 hertz is like what the like the natural A is like apparently. But like, you know, there was a fat debate between whether it should have been 440 and 432, which, you know, 432 hertz music, if you don't know it, like, you know, it's like the frequency of like nature. And like, you know, they were saying like, yeah, it should be that, but apparently like 440 hertz, what most of this mainstream hip hop music is it's being played at, and like apparently it has like really bad like with your brain, like it could give you headaches, it could give you like even mind control to an extent. Like,
I like turn up music, but I can't play turn up music 24/7. And if you're trying to fill that niche, good for you, but you also have to understand that you have to have longevity in this game if you want to succeed. And if you don't have longevity.
The only way to get longevity is to be yourself.
Yeah, because because I know we were talking about fake it till you make it, but you also have to be a real person in order for your shit to come through. Like me and John, before I started the interview, I was telling him that my favorite music of him is his heartbreak shit and his lovey-dovey shit, because I can relate to that. I can firsthand, not only did I firsthand see his relationships go through all of that, but I can relate to what that feels like. And John, those are the music. When I save your music, it's always like all the music that I have on Spotify from you, except from Knock Knock, or is it TikTok?
TikTok.
That song goes fucking hard, and that's
People
the only.
Are sleeping on that.
TikTok goes hard as fuck. I really liked it. Like that's more of like a gym song for me, for the same reason that Red is a gym song, right? That's my favorite Danny song, by the way.
Red,
yeah,
okay.
I love it.
Yeah, that is a song.
That shit goes hard. Okay,
yeah,
it's very simplistic, but
it's hella simple.
It's my
hard.
favorite. Okay,
yeah,
it's
hard as fuck. I agree.
I listen to like what I was saying is that the relationship I can relate to. I can relate to you saying that Shorty switched up or whatever, or she didn't wait. Like I can relate to that, and that's the music that I feel you can slap 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Because the thing about writing trends is that it's a trend.
It's a wave. It eventually goes right back.
Like
down.
look at the swag fag era and how popping that was. Let's look at the current.
Really rocking Galaxy Vans and Mickey Mouse hands.
Hey, Galaxy Vans go hard. Don't be talking shit on them. The Mickey Mouse hands go whack, but the Galaxy Vans.
Mickey Mouse hands.
And I was one of those kids. I went like this. Look
dope.
Or look at the current Tacuache movement. Those are all trends. And,
it'll eventually die down.
And eventually it'll die down, and you'll still have people who are riding that wave, and you're gonna look at them like, oh, those fuckers are weird.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, oh man.
So that's so funny. That's like,
and no one realizes it. Like I've seen so many people copying that trend, and I'm just like, wow, dude, eventually you're gonna not know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go through a little midlife crisis and you're gonna be like, fuck.
Like watch your skills are dying down.
And then, bro,
Yeah, so that's like, bro, that's like if you just like were to walk out right now and you would see a group of kids jerking and shuffling. Like you don't see that shit.
You don't see that shit.
But I can remember.
I remember the older. I was in elementary and I was trying to learn that shit. All the
they
older
were
kids,
cool as fuck.
They was getting down.
Malaysian Shuffle Squad. That's one that I still remember to this day. You know, and I never even knew any of those people personally, but just seeing like their movement on Facebook and their videos, shuffling Harmon versus Wyandotte shuffle contest. Like, that's hard.
Those
bro.
are classics. Go check that out. Yeah. Harmon versus Wyandotte. That's a classic, bro. I don't know none of the fuckers in there.
None of them.
But they're legends.
Yeah,
they're legends.
They did that.
That's
stamped on.
And the thing is, they were being like real fucking competitive.
Yeah, it was serious.
Like
it was not a joke.
It was not. It was like
yeah.
Fuck yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I used to look up to that shit.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But it's not until you realize that that's a trend.
Yeah.
And you can ride trends. Trends are cool, right? Because it's a trend, right? But you can't live off a trend.
You can't.
Like
eventually it'll die down, and then you're not going to be riding on that same trend if it dies down. No, you're going to get on the next wave. Because you got to do what you got to do.
But unfortunately, there's a lot of followers and a lot of people who don't know who the fuck they are, so they just ride waves because that's the easiest way to get through their day. And if you're one of those people, I get it, I understand it. I'm not telling you that you're a piece of shit or you're whack, but do acknowledge that.
Try to keep some originality.
Yeah, be original. You know what I'm saying?
The best you can.
That's something I've always tried to be about myself. I've always tried to keep it true to myself because if I'm not being true to myself, then I'm being fake. And no one wants to fuck with the fake bitch.
Fuck no. I mean, bro, I can't imagine, me personally living my life on a day-to-day basis posing to be somebody I'm not.
It's scary almost.
It's the idea of it is mad. Yeah. That's like literally your mind being taken over. That's what it is at that point. And I mean, the way that I see it, your mind, it's either an enemy or it's your best friend. There's no other way around it. You're either fighting your mind or you're working with it.
Oh no, my mind is my op. That's my favorite op.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know why. And I've always been able to be productive, but my mind, it's always the other thoughts that always, it's like, no, you're telling me not to do that. So I know I sound crazy, but it's like,
no, you're not. You don't.
It
is what it is. That's how the mind works.
I have a very dark, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, what, please, man? I have a very like dark mindset. So it's like
it can get dark.
I have to, and I've always had to just go the other way. So to a certain extent, I have been not true to myself. But the way I view it is, I don't want to be that dark fucking piece of shit.
Of course, nobody wants that.
No one wants to be pessimistic, and I do find myself being a fucking dick.
And that happens.
And if you ask people, yes, I am a dick sometimes, and I know if you ask people who I was really, really close with and I'm not with no more, they're gonna tell you, yeah, he's a fucking dick. But it's because that's being human. That's how that works.
That's how it works. You got both sides.
Yeah, like we were talking earlier, you can't have one without the other. But there has to be a balance.
There does.
And there has to be balance.
Too much of anything.
Just like you can't be happy all the time. Shit's gonna piss you off.
No, bro. If you're happy all the time, you get to a point where at this point, well, you're comfortable with everything because you're happy all the time, so you're not going out to get anything else because you're already satisfied with what you have.
Yeah, and if there's nothing wrong with being satisfied, but there is something wrong with being content. Like I'm not gonna put her out there, but I know there's someone who I really, really love. And I was really counting on her to go to college and be successful for my own purposes, right? But unfortunately, she's found herself in a really stable position. She has a house now. She has a husband damn near. Like, she's really happy. She has 2 new cars.
Right.
You know, she made it out like
American dream.
She's living good. But for me, that always bums me out. But maybe it's because I'm not her, right?
Right.
But it bums me out because I'm like, oh, I was really...
What could have been?
You were supposed to go to college. You graduated from the best school in our state, right?
What could have been?
So it makes me so sad. And I don't know if that's a cultural thing where Latinos in our community just... You got to get a job as soon as you're 16, 15, whatever. But it's scary because it's like a lot of us have potential, but we forget about the potential because we're putting money ahead.
We become satisfied with what we already have.
And there's nothing being satisfied. Like, I have a beautiful garden, and I love my garden. Best believe my garden gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
It got to get better.
Yeah. Or else it stagnates. Or else imagine if you have the same shit all the time. You're gonna get tired of that shit.
It's gonna get boring.
Yeah, and I don't know how people live like that. Like, I can't live like that. And I've tried talking to this individual and be like, hey, bro, like, the way she describes it, she's like, bro, it's peaceful. I'm not stressed out. It's not toxic. I'm like, when she told me that, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna, okay.
You know, you're
because I would talk shit to her. I'd be like, bro, go to fucking college, fucking bum. What are you doing? But now I've come to the conclusion that she's happy. She's content. She's living good. So who the fuck am I
to tell her how to live her life?
Yeah, now she made my job a little harder, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because you going to eat regardless.
All of
get it by all means.
All of us are going to eat regardless. And if you don't think with that mindset, you're going to starve.
Yeah.
You have to go into it with thinking, I'm going to eat regardless. I'm not.
Yeah, see, but you know, you're going to eat regardless, but I feel like regardless, you know, it's kind of a word because it gets to a point. I feel like it should never get to a point where you're eating off of somebody else's plate. Or I mean, you could eat off somebody's plate, but not to the point wherever you're
relying on it.
And you're taking it, you know, like to the point wherever it's like, you know, at this point, I'm just taking it. I'm just taking and I don't give a fuck. You know, it can't get to that. I feel like because like
that's what I was talking
about. You gotta build your own shit.
With relationships.
Yeah, you gotta build your own shit.
You gotta build your own happiness. You gotta know what makes you mad, and you have to do that. That's really important. And for people who might be listening to this and like, oh fuck, I don't have none of that. Reflect. Just sit there and reflect on your life. Think about where you're going, where you're heading. Think about goals. And if you don't have any goals, maybe now it's never too late to make a goal.
It's time to create some.
And I have stupid ass goals. Like I remember for the longest time, one of my goals was to make my bed every morning.
Yeah, no, and
it's really fucking simple.
But see, it starts off with things like that, and then those small victories accumulate until you finally have your big, you know, your snowball, your huge compile.
You know, one of my biggest goals in life is
what's up?
I want to have everything with my name on it, with the LAV on it, everything. Like I'm talking a gate, my fucking car, everything, my pillow, my fucking sheets. That's like a long term goal, right? It sounds ridiculous, but it's been a goal I've had since I was a little kid. Your goals don't have to be ridiculous like that, but I know too many people without any goals, and it's time to make... Your goal can't be a fucking 2020 Charger Hellcat.
No, you got...
It can, right?
But that's the long term. But how are you going to get there? What are the steps that you're going to take...
To get there, yeah.
To get there. Those small little victories to get you to that 2020 Hellcat you want sitting in the fucking garage.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's where it will spend most of its life, and it will depreciate value, and then you'll want the fucking 3030 one, or whatever the fuck.
3030 one. Yeah. 1,000 years later.
Oh, no, I wouldn't even be alive for that,
10 years later. So you never know.
That'd be some shit,
ain't it?
That if they can find a way to make us live forever.
But see, then
you lose the purpose of life.
Exactly. There's no. I'm glad that we agree on that.
Because if you don't know that you're gonna die, you're not gonna live to 100. You're gonna be like, well, I don't have to. I'm gonna be alive. I'm gonna do later.
What's the point of living if there's no death? You know, if death is not the final outcome of this, there's no point of this. If I'm living immortally, what's the point of me getting up out of bed every morning?
Yeah, like going back to what I said earlier, one of my long-term goals is generational wealth. I want to be able to say that I want my great-great-grandkid to be like, oh yeah, I got that because of that fucking right.
Yeah, that dude who had, you see that gang, LAV?
You see that old motherfucker?
That old fart.
Yeah, that old, look at him. Look, he's on the fucking wall. I don't even know. What is he wearing? What the fuck is that? I want that. Like, I understand that it's going to take a lot of work, but that's
a beautiful goal. You know, and it's crazy because there's people like that, and there's nothing wrong with leaving generational wealth for your family. Actually, that's one of the most beautiful things there could be. But then you got people like Bill Gates. You know what I mean? Have you heard what Bill Gates?
Oh yeah, he's not doing shit for his kids.
Nothing for his kids. Literally nothing. And it you think like, yo, what the fuck, Bill Gates? You telling me all these years and you're just gonna go donate that shit?
Well, it makes sense because it's his fucking money.
Of course, it's his money at the end of the day, and he can do whatever he wants with it.
The only reason I want generational wealth is because us as minorities, and especially black folks and land folks who've been here for generations, we don't have that.
No, we still don't have
because
that. There's a lot of people that have that.
There's a lot of white folks we had, and the reason that comes down to is because we weren't able to get credit till much later on, and that if you look into it, you'll find that that's the root cause of it. But for me, it's like, I want that. And not just, oh, we got money in Mexico. Oh, we got money. No, I want to be able to say, oh yeah, we're good down here. We don't... This is our home now. We don't have to go back.
Yeah.
Because I hate hearing that. Oh, we got bread in Mexico.
Yeah, we got farms in Mexico.
Oh yeah, we got a badass mansion. It's like, yeah, you live here now.
Yeah,
this is your reality. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I see that, bro, and that's exactly why I also want to leave a fortune to my children. But I feel like it's also understandable the approach that Bill Gates took.
Makes sense.
Because it's like, all right, you know, I have fucking billions. You know, I could fucking 20 generations from now, my kids still wouldn't have to work. But then it loses value because now at this point, work hard. You don't need to work because shit, dude, I could sit on my ass for the rest of my life and not do shit because I already have 20 million in the fucking bank that my great grandfather left behind.
Can I be honest with you? As someone who grew up busting their ass, someone who saw their mother,
of course, me too, yeah.
I would rather have that than, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that,
right.
I know it sounds like very backwards, but I'd rather have my great grandchildren just sitting on their asses not doing shit instead of being alone and waiting for their mom to come home. And when she does come home, go straight to bed.
Yeah.
That shit to me was a sad reality that I don't want.
That's a reality for a lot of people.
Especially in our community. I don't want that to be the norm for me.
For your family name, even at that.
Yeah, and a part of it also comes down to also, like, growing up, my aunts, I was the bad kid. You know, I'm a little pothead. Like I said, I've been smoking weed since I was, like, 6th grade. So think about what they think about me. Yeah. So if I can be able to be like, oh, yeah, look, you fucking got a mansion because of me, bitch.
Yeah, that little pothead.
Yeah, that little pothead did that for me.
Pay your bills.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful, bro. That's my goal, too. You know, I even say it in one of my songs. I say, you know, like, Pop's out the struggle, now my mom's out the struggle. They ain't never work again. I'm gonna be the Superman.
That's what I want.
It's because, bro, like, who wouldn't want that feeling, you know? And, like, everybody wants that, but, like, you know, are you really gonna go out of your way and work for it?
That's what
and actually go and get it. That's what we're doing.
The beautiful thing about the internet is that it's around forever.
Yeah. No, it's so
forever.
funny. You know, it's so funny because I was talking to yesterday whenever I was trying to get in contact with Alexis to get my cut. Alexis, you flaked on me, by the way. You flaked.
I texted you too, motherfucker. Look at my hair. I look like a fucking loser.
But
come on,
you know,
now.
Anyway, you know, I
love Alexis. Alexis is great.
Yeah, all love for Alexis, but nah, come on, bro.
That's my go-to barber.
Come on, bro. But anyway, I had to hit up
him and Polly. Shout out Polly. Shout out Casey Cuts. Polly is a rebel.
I had to hit up my boy Tony Lopez Cuts at Lopez.cuts on Snap. Go hit him up for a cut. But, you know, I hit him up and I told him...
They're cousins, actually, so there's no competition.
No, there's no competitiveness between Alexis and Tony. It's all love. But
yeah, they're family.
Yeah, but, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I hit him up and I was like, bro, like, you know, this cut right here, you know, is going to be gone 2 weeks from now. But that video is going to be up for 10 years, so I'm going to have that fresh fade for 10 years.
And the thing is that it might be around for 10 years, but for some people, they'll watch it that day, and it's only been around since that day. Like, I don't know how many people watch Danny's interview is over a year old, right? Literally,
people are still watching it.
They're watching it, and that's their first experience with it.
That's who they portray JohnFBaby to be.
That's the beautiful aspect of the internet, and that's why when I just said I got it. Like, if you watch, it's not really an interview or anything, but it's one of my videos on there where I just talk about what my goals are with the whole Corona thing. Is let me take advantage of me not doing shit, and let me just put out content, because at the end of the day, if you're just putting out shit, it doesn't go anywhere, but
it accumulates.
Yeah, like Danny's video's almost at 1,000 plays.
Yeah, and it'll get there.
Nope, it'll
get there easily.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll get there.
Yeah, and that's part of the process with all of this. Like, same thing with your music. I'm gonna be able to look back at your music 10 years from now, and I'm like, whoa, this is the sound he was fucking with.
The growth.
Yeah, you see.
I mean, bro,
looking at growth is fucking dope. Being able
to
look at somebody and being like, oh wow, they were this, and now they're this.
Wow.
Hats off to you.
Bravo,
Good shit, fam.
Yeah. I mean, I love going back to, like, even, like, the weekends, like, early music.
Oh, that's the go-to.
You know, like...
That's A1 fucking music.
But I'm talking, like, before, like, all the original projects, like, before Beauty Behind, before Trilogy, before fucking, what's it called? The one, the Japanese-inspired one.
Well, he had if I could be wrong here, but he dropped the mixtapes, the Thursday one, and the Party After the Party. He dropped those. It was the initial.
But that was
the trilogy is literally those three ones. Yeah, that's my.
But I'm talking about the one before Trilogy, the one that was like, it was talking about like it was very like Japanese influenced. Like the cover art was like neon green, and I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about.
I don't. I'm gonna have to Google it.
But I'm talking like before that, like, you know, I was listening to some shit from whenever he was like 16 years old on the mic, and you know, it's so crazy because they're like, yo, like his vocals, they were good. But fuck, now, like, Weeknd is
his
like
falsetto is gorgeous.
God, you know, nobody's touching his vocals right now. No one. You know, and you got a lot of good singers, but I'm just saying, like, whenever you hear The Weeknd, you know it's The Weeknd. And you can't take away what The Weeknd has.
And even back when you're looking at shows or even things on YouTube, you get to see the natural progression.
Oh, yeah. Like, Travis Scott's first show. Have you watched that Travis Scott documentary? It's mad.
It's really
he literally had, like, 10 people, and they didn't know what the fuck was going on. They were probably there for somebody else, and they got this fucking Jacquees Webster on the fucking, like, you know, like, what the fuck?
Or even look at what
sold out arenas.
No, even look at your surroundings right now. Yeah. And think about how drastically they're going to change with time.
Yeah, no, this is only the beginning, and it's already beautiful, and I'm so thankful for it. But I know that it's going to get bigger, and it only grows, and there's only room to grow. And if you're not going forward, you're going backward.
Yeah, and that's why I think it is important just to put yourself out there. I am a firm believer of you just got to shoot your shot every time. And that doesn't mean just with girls. That means with everything. You just got to do it.
You got to take risks.
And if you fuck up and you fail, then you fucked up and you failed. But as long as you can take
You gave it a try. Yeah, I mean, bro, imagine, like, living your whole life thinking that you wanted to do something
and you never did.
And
you a little bitch about it.
Exactly, because you were too scared of getting a no. Because at the end of the day, that no is just a no.
Or think about all the people who want to be producers, want to be rappers, but
they don't take the initiative.
They've never opened up a site. They've never even tried making a beat.
Initiative.
But they like the concept of being a producer, but they've never tried it. And that shit infuriates me because it's like, it's okay. It's like, oh yeah, you want to be a producer? Go make me 10 fucking beats and let me hear it.
You have it. See, you have the tool right in your hand too. That you know, that's the craziest part to me because like, where is it, man? Let me get this phone out. I know I haven't had my phone this whole interview, but this bitch just disappeared. Oh, here it is. This phone right here, like,
it can do so much.
Anything.
You can record. The audio's good. The camera quality is good.
Anything. This device has the power to do anything. You can hack with this. You can fucking rob a bank with this. You can produce beats with this. You can Photoshop with it. You can fucking steal people's numbers with it. You can fish people's fucking information. Like, bro, like, you know, I'm saying crimes, but you know, there's also like the complete opposite to it. I'm just saying like how deep it goes to the point wherever you could literally order a fucking hitman with
and you don't even have to have the newest iPhone.
Nope.
Even I think you could have an iPhone 4 and it's still gonna be suitable.
It'll do the job.
Or you can have an Android and it'd still be suitable. It's just about producing content and watching the growth go by.
Yeah. It's gonna get better.
This slowly went from an interview to a conversation. So let's go back to the interview. What are you dropping next? When are we gonna see the next tape? You dropped I know you posted promo yesterday. Or 2 days from now when this goes out.
So I got a lot of music coming out. Music is gonna come out. You know, it's so crazy because I've been making music for so many years now, and I still don't have my first like album out.
I fucking peeped that on I was like, maybe it's just because it's on Spotify and Apple Music, but I was like, dude, this motherfucker just has nothing but singles.
Yeah. And
then I was like, let me go to SoundCloud, let me peep that, and then I went through your whole Facebook, and I was like, and then I was texting people, and I was like, is this motherfucker don't got shit? Because the Staychillin tapes don't count as your own tape. No,
that's not my tape. I featured on that tape. But I actually don't have my first album out. And there's a reason for it. It's not like there's not. So far...
Can I tell you what I thought my reason for it was?
Let me hear.
I thought the reason for it is because you wanted to be meticulous with it. You wanted to drop it when you know that there is an audience for it. Not only audience for it, but like a legit demographic.
Yeah.
Because I noticed a lot of people drop albums. There's no one listening to those albums, so they're not being taken seriously. You know, like in terms of looking at their discography, no one's gonna look back at it and be like, that was the album that did it. Yeah. They're gonna be like, oh, this is his mixtape.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I think there has to be we have to distinguish a difference between a mixtape and an album because there is a huge fucking difference.
I mean, I have a couple mixtapes out. I have a couple EPs out. But
EPs and mixtapes, I think, are very similar, but they're not albums. For me, if you tell me, oh, my mixtape, and you use them as synonyms, I'm gonna look at you silly because they're not. They're simply not. Not at all.
So I haven't, I have a lot of music coming out. I'll drop something the day of this video, and I'll drop something the day before the video and the day after too. Cause that's how I'm coming. I got music. It's not like I don't have music, but whenever it's time to drop my album, I'll know it's time. I've had multiple times wherever I'm like, all right, now I'm focused on making an album, and it never happened. But I feel like there was a reason why.
Do you want to make like a concise story, or do you just want to drop music?
Well, like you mean like an album?
Yeah, like do you want your album to be?
I want my album to be a production.
Oh, okay.
It's not just
if
I'm making this album, there's a story to it from the first song all the way to the last song. It has to be played in that order.
Because well, to a certain extent, right? Because you want to be able to hear the song individually. But for me, those are the albums that I love. I love like For Your Eyes Only. The story. Even when you're looking at the story, and they might not all go together, but they have the same elements.
Yeah,
they're beautiful.
Yeah,
because you know you can go to that. Like think of Take Care. You know you can go to Take Care to listen.
You know what you're going for. You know why you're going to Take Care. You know why you're going to those albums. You know why you're going to be.
Because I feel like when people misconstrue mixtapes and albums together, they're really losing what makes an album an album.
Yeah, the value of it, which is that story behind it. And that's why, whenever my album drops, there will be a story to it. There will be power behind it. There will be from point 1 to point 12. I want it to be a whole journey for you. I just kind of gave how many tracks I'm going to drop on an album. 12.
Really? Why 12? That's some yay shit. Only dropping, if I were to ever drop an album, you know how many I've always thought?
How many?
44.
44 songs on
I want a fucking book.
That's mad.
I want a book.
That's mad. That's like a fucking... That's like
a movie.
That's like fucking a whole. What the fuck? That's crazy.
I'm being dead
44
serious.
songs.
Like because I used to write music as a kid. That's how if you're wondering why I'm into music, as a kid I wanted to do that. I can play the guitar, I can play the piano.
That's
pretty well, yeah. And I was like, if I'm ever dropping an album, I want it to be like a whole story, like a whole, like from start to finish. You're like, oh, and it's like a chapter.
Yeah, it has to be a book.
Yeah,
almost.
I don't know why. I 44. That's the number that I would.
That's
go
beautiful.
With. I don't know if that's never probably never.
It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful number.
That's how I would go about it.
That's a very large project.
Because I like long albums. I like listening to albums that I can finish in an hour because it's like, oh, I can do it all in one night, whatever. But my favorite albums have been the albums like, okay, I'm gonna listen to 5 songs tonight. I'm gonna listen to 5 songs maybe in the morning. But I love that because then you really go through the whole fucking journey.
Yeah, right.
And that's what I like, the journey.
So how many albums have you actually listened to with that many songs on it? Because that's
none. Fucking none.
I know.
I think the most I've ever seen is 22, 27.
That trilogy tape has like 30 songs on it, I believe. So that's a pretty big tape.
Yeah. But those have been over time.
Yeah. Years.
I know. He's looking at me like, this motherfucker. He said 44.
Yeah, no, 44 is crazy.
But and when I was a kid, that's how. And I wrote 44 songs. Does that make sense?
Wow.
I had
them.
I had, and I still do have the titles and sequence.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was a kid, you know. And
Yeah.
I remember the way I was gonna do it is like introduction, who I am, fall in love, break up, and then fall in love again. Then break up, and then just being a pimp. That's how I wanted the transition to go.
Okay.
I swear to God, like I have
dope.
it all.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and there's a story behind it.
Yeah.
And I feel like there should be it's not an album unless
It's a story.
Unless they all tie in a way. You know, I feel like all the songs, you can't have a fucking song where you're talking about being heartbroken and the next song you're fucking
Fucking bitches in the club.
Yeah, like no, that's not how that works.
It's not. It has to be a concise story, and there has to be a goal. When you're making music, do you usually have a goal for the song?
Yeah. I mean, there has to be an idea behind the song.
How do you come up with ideas? Is it just you write down love and then from there you stem fucking ideas?
So for me, it's like, you know, obviously, depending on the beat, you get feelings, and then whatever feeling, let's say like this is a love beat, let's say, you know, and I start to think, okay, well shit, let me write something, a little clever one-liner about love.
Well, you got bars, huh? Did you know that? You can actually spit.
Oh yeah, I know.
No, you do that one thing where it's like so it'd be like 1 2 3 and then 1 2 3 and then boom, come again. I peeped that. That's usually what you're right when you're freestyling. That's your rhyme scheme.
Yeah.
You don't try to do it. Your rhyme scheme isn't bar. It's not rhyme. It's sentence rhyme rhymes rhyme. I love it. Like your freestyles. I've noticed that was your rhyme scheme because contrary to popular belief, before I do any of these interviews, I take notes. I like to be able to know what the fuck I'm talking about, or else it's not genuine.
Yeah, of course.
I like to be able to analyze.
You gotta have some sort of idea. You can't go in there.
I gotta look
rhyme.
at your rhyme schemes. You know what I'm saying? I always look at rhyme schemes, and it's for the artists who don't have very good bars. It's like but rhyme schemes are important to me because rap to me is like a puzzle. You gotta put everything together, and if it don't go together, you're gonna sound fucking ridiculous.
Goofy.
Yep, you're gonna sound ridiculous. If the bar from the first part of the song doesn't go somewhat similar with the last part.
You know, my most recent drop, Too Many Bars Freestyle, that song, man, like the lyrics in it, bro, like you'd be surprised how many bars you missed.
When you're rapping, do you just get lost in it? Do you just kind of or is it like you're being like a robot? You're like,
so there's something called the flow state, and I mean we're in the flow state right now, and once you get into that flow state, it's like nothing can stop you, man. It's like it's like, you know, if I'm coming up with clever lines, I need to make sure that, you know, I wouldn't say like, because it's creative, but at the same time there's also that, like, you know, that logical side to it, and I kind of just try to mix both of them the best I can, if that makes any sense. You know, like, fuck, let me think. The first line off that Too Many Bars Freestyle is like chilling in the cuts like I'm alcohol. And you know, like people would be like, well, what the fuck does that mean? What you shit?
Because alcohol, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
I'm chilling in the cuts like I'm alcohol. You know, and you know,
you put alcohol in the cut, or you supposed to, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to
to
sanitize it. You know, but
especially with the Rona,
a lot of people will miss that, bro.
You think so?
No, a lot of people, bro. You'd be surprised. Daniel missed it.
Oh,
Out
really?
of all people, Daniel missed it. I remember I told him, I said, bruh, like, you for real? And I told him, I said it again. He's like, bro, that's so fucking hard. Like, how'd you even come up with that?
See, but I like rap like that. I like rap where I'll listen to it 3 times.
You have to listen to it again and again and again to get what the fuck I'm really saying.
Yeah, and I like that because then it gives me a reason to go back to it. I hate music, and I know I mentioned Little Pump earlier, where it's like you listen to it once and you know what the fuck you're gonna get, and you might go back to it because you know what you're gonna get.
Because it's lit.
Yeah, it's lit. I miss Pump. That old. I feel like if X was still around, Pump would be not as weird as he is now.
You think so?
I know so. Well, not know so, right? I can only make an assumption, but
right.
What X was doing for that whole Florida scene.
Man, X was on it, bro. Rest up, man. That's a legend, bro.
And a lot of people try to discredit him, but I don't feel like you can put him in the same category as Peep or Smoke. Because I see Peep and Smoke as artists who created trends, right? And X did create a trend, but it wasn't just about his trend. It was about what he was really doing.
No, his impact was giant, bro. And that's why you have countless kids that are still currently to this day making edits of X and playing his music. And because, bro, like, what he put to the table was something that was never seen.
Well, he put everything on the table.
Everything. All the cards. Everything.
The motherfucker said, you want love? I got love. You want abuse?
You want rage? I got rage.
Yeah, he put everything.
All of it.
Yeah. That's what I like about music. And that's going back to what I said earlier, where it's like, when you listen to X's music, you know who he was. You know who he was for the most part, right?
Right.
You can get an understanding of who he was, who he wanted to be, and where he wanted to be. And that's why for the artists who don't know what kind of music to make, I really do suggest making music true to yourself, so you can
be that Kanye.
Like
man.
Like when you listen to John's music, it's John. Like I hope that watching this interview makes you go back to listen to his music and you understand. Oh, you know, that's how he talks. That's how he moves. He's very energetic. And going back to what we're talking about psychedelics and stuff, you can listen to the music and be like, oh, maybe he was tripping out on this one.
Yeah, real shit.
Yeah, I hope that that's what these interviews can almost do. And we've been going on for almost 2 hours, and it's been fun. This is the longest one today. This was dope. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We did that shit.
Yes, we did.
I love.
Thank you for everyone who's made it this far. I'm gonna look at the analytics. Okay, so all you fuckers who tell me you watched the whole thing, I can see if you watched the whole thing.
You can check that.
I can literally check that. I check watch times all the time. I know what artists get the longest watch times. Don't bullshit me, all right? I don't like being bullshitted. I hate being lied to.
Don't bullshit them.
Yeah, because I can look at that. Don't fucking lie to me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, chances are if they're listening to this, they did stick around. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. But you know what I've noticed? Some people will literally skip during the whole thing. And it'll tell me they watch from they watch 7 minutes and then skip through like all.
It does say that?
Yeah, and
that's so crazy.
It shows you like
I need to dig into my
it shows you your video, right?
I don't be paying too much
and then it'll show you like the bars on
right.
where you see the most watch time. And it always pisses me off because they always watch like the setups, because that's what I do with these interviews. Something like what I do in debate. I tend to ask questions that will be set up for something later, and it fucking infuriates me when I see people who are only watching the setups but I'm never watching where the setup goes.
Where it gets juicy.
And I'm just like, bro, what the fuck?
It's the whole point, the content.
Do I appreciate you guys clicking on it? Yes, of course. I love it. Thank you so much.
Love.
But understand that this isn't just for popularity. This is for you to get to understand who these artists are and why you should listen to their music. So, yeah, I think that's how I'll end it off. You have anything you want to plug? Anything you want to put out there?
Let's keep winning.
And he's wearing a Chiefs jersey, so let's most definitely keep winning. All right?
Let's keep winning, man.
And let's put the city on our back and let's kill. You have a Mahomes one? I have a Kelsey one. Thank you.
Patty fucking Mahomes, the GOAT.
Thank you for watching. Go watch another one. Go watch Christians. Go watch Ferns.
Go watch DFB.
Go watch Danny's. That's a classic. That is gonna go down as a classic. You know that?
That's an OG.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Holy fuck. Yeah. Shout out to Danny. We talked about him so much. Thank you. Goodbye.
OG.
Yep.